That's right, I'm American. Got a picture hanging above my fire next to the deer I shot with my rifle. NRA, hell yeah, I support them. I hate my job and I hate my boss, but I love my country and I pray to God that the Cowboys win. Just clap your hands if you love our country, if you love our land. That's right. And if you're not clapping your hands, you're a terrorist and you eat sand.
Irreverent, but honest and tastefully tacky somehow. Here comes another hour of insensitivity training with Glenn Woods.
And I live in America. Come on. And I live in America. I'm American.
Well, the Republican convention is now officially over. All the balloons, confetti, and folding chairs have been removed. They are still mopping up the remnants of the suicide of Ted Cruz. Political suicide, that is. My name is Glenn Woods. It's a Bold Republic radio show. My name's, thanks for joining me. Hang on, a little distraction here. Okay, clear it up. Got it. Pretty much everything I talk about and a whole lot more, you find it on my website, which is boldrepublic.com. And I'm watching, this is the distraction. Yeah, there is a little bit of trouble in Munich going on right now. You heard about the shooting there? Okay, I'll be keeping an eye on that for you. There's been in Munich, Germany, at a mall, there's been a shooting, multiple people dead. Don't know yet anything. Terrorist attack, whatever the case might be. So as this develops, I'll jump in from time to time during the show, just interrupt myself and let you know. Now, that's the next thing. It's Friday, so you guys get to interrupt me. 844-700-BOLD is the phone number. That's 844-700-BOLD or 2653. Everybody gives you open phones Friday these days in talk radio. Now, of course, I do it 5 days a week, but 4 of those days, you maybe only get an hour of open phones. On Friday, it's the entire show. So anytime you want to call in, interrupt me, that's fine. Change the subject, that'd be okay. So I didn't want to cover this. I do this now and then. I come across a topic, which I think I don't want to talk about this. But then I notice everybody seems to be commenting on it. And then people start asking me what I think. Oh, God, I don't think about this. I was enjoying not thinking about this. Okay, fine. You guys want to hear? Here we go. So at the Republican convention, YouTube decided to do like a hallway in the convention hall. They had Julie Borowski, the Young Turks, the whole list, a whole line of people went all the way down. And you could go to YouTube channels and watch people broadcasting live from the convention. Of course, they'll be doing this for the Democrat convention as well, which means that, and I like this in a lot of ways, that the major news outlets, well, they don't matter as much anymore because most of these programs are homegrown programs. And that's what I like to see. Whoever might be doing it. I mean, Julie Borowski, a young lady who started with FreedomWorks and has just a hell of a following, one among many that had her own little booth there doing interviews and so on. All right, so Alex Jones is there. Yes, the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. And he looked over and saw the booth for the Young Turks. Alex Jones decided to go over there and pay them a visit because he's such a nice guy. Or he's a troublemaker, one or the other. So Alex Jones heads over to the booth of the Young Turks. Starts grabbing for the microphone.
Welcome to the main event.
Trying to get the host of the Young Turks arguing with some other guy. Alex is just standing there smiling while he's trying to incite him. And at some point, Alex Jones gets the host of the Young Turks mad enough that he just gets up, throws his earpiece onto the floor, turns to Alex Jones, and starts cussing him out. And the two are nose to nose, screaming at each other. Yes, this is what, well, there for those watching on video, there was an earpiece going down. Now, as they're screaming at each other, cameras all over the place, even people from legitimate news organizations who wouldn't care about something like this wow, this is something to report. This could be interesting. So they gather around, they start taking pictures. Members of Alex Jones's crew, along with the Young Turks crew, they're trying to pull those two apart. Okay, so I didn't want to talk about, people were sending me this and laughing. Isn't this great? Look at this over here. And then taking sides, because I know some people who like the Young Turks and know some people like Alex Jones. All right, so after watching this mayhem and being asked enough times by friends of mine what I thought of the whole thing, fine, I'll tell you. You see, as far as I'm concerned, I've seen and listened to Alex Jones a few times. I get it. I've seen the Young Turks a few times and watched their programs, and I get what they're doing. Alex Jones is essentially from the planet Venus. He suffered, and I mean this seriously. I seriously mean this. Alex Jones suffers from some kind of mental disorder. There's something wrong with that boy. When you hear, for those of you who listen to him, sorry guys, most of what he says has no basis in reality whatsoever. There's just something wrong with that boy. Young Turks. Now, if Alex Jones is from Venus, the Young Turks are from Mars. And I don't know if you know this, but Venus and Mars are at war with each other. And Earth is right smack dab in the middle. We're stuck here in the middle of this battle. The Young Turks are basically the leftist version, hardcore leftist version of Alex Jones. You listen to the garbage they talk about, and they wouldn't acknowledge, they wouldn't recognize it, they wouldn't acknowledge it, but neither would Alex Jones. They're basically the same thing, just completely polar opposites politically. But when you hear what the Young Turks talk about, when you hear what Alex Jones talks about, the only difference between the two is one's left wing, one's right wing. Other than that, it's the same nutballery. I don't know if nutballery is a word. I think I just made it up. Fine, I'm going with it. They suffer from the same nutballery. So, okay. Alex Jones is guilty on this one. He incited this. He went over there and started harassing the host and trying to get him to debate some other guy. I don't know who the other guy is. And finally, the Young Turk had just had enough, and that's when the two of them went at it. Now, to listen, if you can decipher through the crowd yelling at each other, exactly what these two are saying to each other when they argue, Jones and the other guy. What exactly are they saying to each other? I caught bits and pieces of it because it was so loud. And it's, again, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. You're listening to two crazy minds argue. And watching this, I got the impression that I was sitting in the, what would you call it? The dining room of a mental institution. And I was watching two of the craziest of the crazy conspiracy theorists attacking each other, diving across the tables, food flying everywhere. That's the impression that I got watching these two. Both are crazy stupid. Now, when I was a kid, a little kid, I used to look up to adults and think, I can't wait to get done with being a kid. I can't wait till I just grow up and get past all of this. I want to act like adults because they are smart, they are mature, they are wise. All right, now I'm an adult. And I'm still waiting to meet another adult that is smart and mature and wise. And when I watch garbage like this, now I even said to someone this morning that looking at the Republican convention, that was a carnival. The Republican convention was a carnival. Now here comes the Democrat convention. You think the Republican convention was bad? Wait till you see the Democrat convention. Oh, dear God. Well, no, it's not just Black Lives Matter that's going to show up. I mean, every left-wing extremist group possible is going to show up. And while in this one, the Democrats just couldn't understand, MSNBC just couldn't understand, how could you possibly say that about Hillary? Are you actually bringing up Benghazi again? What is wrong with you? Wait till you hear the nutballs that they're going to bring up to speak at the Democrat convention. So as much of a carnival as it was at the Republican convention, the Democrat convention, I think, is going to be far worse. Now, some people turned to me and said, well, it's just going to be, I had more than one person tell me the Democrat convention is going to be boring. I don't think so. I think what we're looking at is, I saw an interesting video. I think this is WWF. They show a bunch of wrestlers sitting around a table full of food with American flags all over them. And they're supposed to be representing the different political parties and political points of view. And then the food starts flying, and you've seen championship wrestling. You understand what that looks like. And that is American politics today. And we have to take it seriously because we're putting these idiots up to run the country. And we're getting our information from evening comedy talk shows like the Colbert Show. And people are turning on comedy talk shows to get their news and information. And then turning on nutballs like Alex Jones and the Young Turks to get their news and information. And you see, and think about it. The Republican convention was a circus as it was. The Turks and Alex Jones, turned, and I mainly blame Alex Jones here, they turned the circus into a sideshow in the circus. Wow. Well, I guess there you go, folks. That's politics today in America.
Dial 1-844-700 bold. I don't know what number it is, but it's 700 bold. B-O-D. Yeah, that one.
Blood pressure tends to run higher during the day and lower during nighttime sleep. However, many with high blood pressure don't exhibit this nighttime dip, a condition called non-dipping. More in today's AARP health tip after this.
At Walgreens, getting diabetes testing supplies with Medicare Part B is a walk in the park. Really, because getting what you need is quick and easy, giving you more time for other things. There's $0 out of pocket on all major brands like Accu-Check and Walgreens TrueMetrics, and no extra paperwork. So managing diabetes becomes a stroll down Easy Street, or a trip to the movies, or even a day at the beach. Talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Zero out-of-pocket cost when billed to Medicare and full coverage supplemental insurance.
Non-dipping is a major risk factor for stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. But studies show taking one or more of your prescribed blood pressure medications just before bedtime significantly decreases the risk. Of course, never change the timing of your medications without first consulting your doctor. For more, go to aarp.org.
I want my kids and grandkids to have opportunities. Good, high-paying jobs. Producing more oil and natural gas will put more Americans to work. Manufacturing, technology, transportation, all kinds of jobs, and a lot of paychecks. I'm Dina, and I'm an energy voter.
By now, we are familiar with that handy little message we get from the phone company that tells us it's time to pay our bill. But now, just for conservatives, and brought to you by the Tea Party, a handy little message that lets you know when you are paying someone else's phone bill. Yes, because most of us never bother to check the taxes on our bills, so we don't see that we are paying double the bill through state and federal taxes for the Obama phone program. Our new ringtone and message will help keep you riled up straight through the election season. And for those who like to really get pissed off, try the new app that lets you see the person you're paying for and even lets you hear what sort of calls they're making. I mean, why not? You're paying for it. And now through November 2014, you can have a Tea Party Obama phone app secretly attached to your liberal friends' cell phones. No extra charge.
Did you hear? The government is giving away free guns. Yes, free guns. Gun manufacturers around the nation will be mandated to give every citizen a free gun with ammunition. As you know, the U.S. Constitution states that you have a right to bear arms. And since we've been told that anything that is a right, like healthcare, is given to you by the government for free, then that must mean that soon you'll be able to pick up your free gun. And since free contraceptives are also a right, then that means you get free bullets too. Yes, right now the U.S. government is borrowing money from China and future generations and raising taxes on the mega wealthy just to make sure that you get your free gun guaranteed under the Constitution. Because now anything that's a right in this country is given to you for free. Healthcare's a right, and you have the right to bear arms. It's your right.
Hello. Yes, I think Glenn is going to take your call next, but don't call him Glenn. He wants to be called Pasty White Guy. Oh, no, he takes it as a compliment. Trust me. Wait, here we go.
Back to the show. Back to Glenn Woods.
Friday edition, Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget pretty much everything that I talk about and a whole lot more. You find it on my website, which is boldrepublic.com. Phone number to get involved, 844-700-BOLD or 844-700-2653. So, okay, there's Alex Jones and Young Turks go at it and have a brawl almost right there at the Republican convention, turning the circus that was the convention into a circus sideshow that everybody wanted to, well, see who was going to. And I don't think it ever came to blows. Wish it had. Who do you think would have won that? Interesting. Well, there was also a circus of the media. All right, for example, and I love memes. Memes show you, I've been saying to you for a long time, two things: how smart people can be and how dumb people can be, which is why I love memes. But also how truthful people can be and how much they'll lie. One of the memes, they show, what is that? I'm trying to remember which is this Laura Schlesinger? Okay, well, anyway, talk show host. She's on stage and she's waving to somebody in the audience. Have you seen this one? She's waving to somebody out there in the audience. And there's a picture of Donald Trump. And it's superimposed over top as if he's on the screen up above her, which he wasn't at the time. And he's waving to some people way up in the stands up there. Well, of course, if you freeze Donald Trump's wave at just the right moment, it looks like a Hitler salute. If you freeze her wave on stage at the right moment, it looks like she's saluting back. Someone put these two images together and put them up, and then a note was written with it. Found this one on Facebook. Note was written with it. Wow, kind of says a lot, doesn't it? Kind of puts it in perspective. And I said, no. The picture of Donald Trump says Getty Images underneath, which means obviously you took a picture of Trump and superimposed it as if he was up on the screen behind her. First, and we know she was waving to the crowd, and we know that he was waving to the crowd, and you just made it look like they were doing a Hitler salute to each other. So let's go to CNN. Headline from CNN, from Trump's speech last night: I alone can fix it. What are they trying to do there? Anything they can to destroy Trump. Now, for those who are new to the program, let me be really clear about this. You don't know by listening to this show if I am a Trump supporter or not. I'm an equal opportunity offender. You want to know who I voted for? Ask me after the elections. The reason I do that is it gives me the ability to just go after everybody equally, fairly. What I am is a liberty-minded guy. I'm a limited government, big liberty guy. If you listen to me long enough, you'll get an idea what I'll do during the elections because you'll be able to just figure it out. But I never say it that way. Part of the reason why is when I had Liz Cheney in here, and she announced in this studio that she was running for a House of Representatives. Well, I was able to be equally offensive with her, or ask her the tough questions, in other words, as I was with anybody who was running against her. So don't try to figure out through what I'm saying here whether I'm for Trump or against Trump. It was the Republican convention that was going on. That's why I'm talking about Trump right now. Headline, MSNBC. You want to talk dishonest? This morning, MSNBC put a picture up of Donald Trump in black and white. Headline on MSNBC's website, Donald Trump's journey to the dark side. Really, MSNBC? This is what, and they're the ones who want to convince you that they're all fair and balanced. Well, hold on now. Let's go back outside. We're going to go outside the convention. From rebelpundit.com. I'd suggest their YouTube page. I found some really neat stuff there. Go to YouTube, type in Rebel Pundit. Andrew Marcus was shooting some video, and he came across this CNN reporter giving a black Trump supporter, handed him a really interesting question. Let's listen to this. We'll pick it apart after the next break here. Listen to this.
What do you think about the fact that white supremacists support Trump?
What the hell did that got to do with Donald Trump? He's not a racist. I'm sick of that.
What do you think about what he just said to you? That's maybe not a fair question to ask if you're just trying to associate Trump with racism. Do Black Panthers support Obama?
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Good luck.
Do Black Panthers support Obama, sir?
Okay, so let me, we'll get into this because we got to talk about this in the next segment coming up here. A black Trump supporter wearing a Trump hat, CNN reporter. Well, some racist organizations support Donald Trump. What do you think about that? What does that have to do with anything? Trump is not a racist. Now, this is an obvious question, though. Hey, the Black Panthers support. That's a great question, Andrew. I'm glad you were there. So, the Black Panthers support Barack Obama. Does that make Barack Obama a racist? Now, the reporter, he looked pretty embarrassed to me at this point. I don't really want to pick apart his motives because I'm not in his head. But he didn't hang around much longer. Now, that was the circus that was happening outside the convention.
A radio show? Yeah. Tip of the iceberg. Check out the YouTube videos. See what Glenn's talking about on Facebook and Twitter. You can find out more at boldrepublic.com.
You know, a lot of people buy expensive razors to get a great shave. Some people even belong to Razor Club. And while a good razor certainly does go a long way, none of that means a thing if you haven't properly prepared your face or your legs or your underarms or wherever for that shave. It's the preparation that's the key. That's where Shave Secret comes in. You don't need any soaps or oils or aftershave, none of that. Shave Secret is the best shave ever. Simply put, the best shave ever. 100% natural oils. Comes in a little bottle that looks like an eyedropper bottle. Just wet the face, 3 drops. It doesn't even lather. It'll help heal any nicks and cuts, helps with dry skin, rashes, shave bumps, ingrown hairs, and a whole lot more. And it's a perfect size to travel with, too. Look them up online. Shave Secret. It's simply the best shave ever. A 100% natural product that'll prepare your face for the shave. Shave Secret.
Bold Republic.
Pornography is a public health crisis that is ruining lives.
Right.
Do you think that that is true?
I am living proof.
This year, the Republican Party added a new point to its platform, saying that pornography is a public health crisis and it has ruined millions of lives. So we're here at the convention to talk to Republicans about what they think of that.
I agree with that sentiment, yes.
Do you think that that's an appropriate thing for a political party to be focusing on?
Yeah, actually I do. It interferes with a healthy relationship that a man should have with a woman.
Pornography is a disgusting bane on our civilization. It's nothing different than adultery.
Do you think that pornography is a public health crisis that needs to be stopped?
Absolutely not.
I don't know why that would be in the platform. I think there are too many laws.
We're a free country. You want to look at pornography? Go for it, as long as it's not child pornography.
I think they're closet porn watchers. That's what I think.
I have a real problem with the Republican Party trying to get into our bedroom. Don't tell me who to sleep with. Don't tell me who to marry.
Luckily, no one cares what the platform says, who even reads it. There's certain social issues I care about, but porn, you're either going to look at it.
I think there's not really a place for it. We have such bigger issues to focus on.
Have you ever watched pornography?
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that.
It's outlawed. You don't think that that is not very at odds with limited government principles?
Well, there might be a little bit of a discussion there. If we're going to take God's word and throw it in the trash, we're going to have society full of trash.
That if you watch too much pornography, you might go blind, so I just wear glasses.
When you get to the ballot box, what do you remember about the politicians you're voting for? The problem with American politics isn't this guy. It's this guy. So how do you know which one you're going to get? At Conservative Review, we set out to cut through the noise in politics and to give you everything you're interested in and nothing that you're not. We created CR Insider to help you do three things: verify, track, and explore. With our Liberty score, you can verify at a glance who's actually conservative and who's just pretending, just for election season. Our customizable dashboard lets you track the politicians you care about, see how they vote, and if their positions change over time. And most importantly, we want you to explore our exclusive content, commentary from the best and brightest conservative authors you won't find anywhere else on the issues you care about most. For the first time ever, there's a trusted source that provides the unvarnished record of politicians, along with political and policy information for the issues you care about most. So whether you're walking into the voting booth, engaged in a lively conversation with friends or family, or simply want to learn more, CR Insider is just for you.
This is Dry Fork Station near Gillette, Wyoming. Yes, it's a coal-fired power plant. Yes, it's one of the most efficient and clean coal-fired power plants in the U.S. And yes, that's steam, not smoke. Did we mention it's one of the most efficient and clean coal-fired power plants in the United States? That's right, we did. Power plants like Dry Fork Station help keep you warm when the temperatures are sub-zero. They also help keep your electricity bill lower. Coal, America's energy.
The Fair Tax is a tax replacement plan where we take all the federal income taxes, including corporate, personal, gift, and estate taxes, and replace them with one national consumption tax on new purchases above the poverty level only. This form of consumption tax comes with no exceptions and is progressive, not regressive. The poor are not paying more, and the rich are not paying less. What makes it progressive is that all Americans are untaxed up to the poverty level via the prebate, much like your standard tax deduction. The taxes are collected by retail businesses at state level, so the system is more accountable. The IRS is done away with, and you have control over your money and what the overall tax rate your household pays. The Fair Tax is revenue neutral, so the government receives the same amount of money as they do now, and it's fair because you decide what's fair, not them. To learn more, visit fairtax.org and be sure to like us on social media to help educate your friends and spread the word.
Friday edition, Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to give you an update now what's happening in Munich. For those who have just been getting bits and pieces of it, I wanted to hold off on saying it was any kind of a terrorist attack. There's a mall in Munich. There's gunshots. There's multiple people dead. And that's all I had until now. Here's the headlines. Terror attack is suspected. All right, so suspected. So, well, look, okay, I've been in the news business long enough. I can say it's probably going to turn out to be that way, but don't say it yet. Hold off. Always wait until all of the information is in. This is like 30 years of experience talking to you here. I've been caught before saying, well, things on the air that turned out to be just not true later on. And not because I was lying, it's just because information was coming in fast. And I was spitting it out, and later on found out that what I was talking about wasn't true. So it's suspected. Leave it at that. Many fear dead after the shooting spree at a Munich shopping center. The latest have massive manhunt underway after a suspected terrorist attack in a shopping mall where multiple people are feared dead. No official casualty report at this time. That's what we got. So as I get more information in, I'll pass it on to you. There are some videos out there of this, but shaky. If I get any, I'll play it for those people watching on the video stream here. Just a real quick hint, though. And I'm not trying to, something like this, I don't want to sound like I'm not being serious, but if you find yourself shooting a video using your phone, turn your phone sideways. Well, think about it. You're watching a YouTube video. What's the shape of the video? It's a rectangle. Is it vertical or horizontal? You're sitting at home watching TV. What's the shape of your TV? It's a rectangle. Is it vertical or horizontal? Okay. Your cell phone. It's a rectangle. Vertical or horizontal? Turn the phone to fit the box that the video is going to fit in. There. As I learn more from Munich, I'll let you know. Let's check out the national debt clock. Your national debt clock countdown for July 22nd, 2016. 19 trillion. 357 billion. And now a message from future generations.
You know, you guys used to have a big pile of money and you could distribute it to all of the states. Now you've got a big hole that you all dive into.
Yes, and it just keeps getting deeper. We'll leave that to you to fill in. This has been your national debt clock countdown. Was disappointed last night. Not a whole lot about the national debt was talked about when Donald Trump got. By the way, I thought Trump gave a good speech. Whoever his speechwriter is, did I think a really good job at capturing the way Trump, the way he misuses the English language, is what I really want to say. So yeah, good speech last night. Although not a lot of details and a few things that I looked at and thought, well, okay. You want to punish companies for leaving America? That's not how to bring jobs to America. You make America such an attractive place to do business that companies from all over the world will come here and do business. Low taxes, low regulations. And you don't punish them if they decide to pack up and go somewhere else. You don't bring businesses to America by being an authoritarian, just so you know. All right, so let's get back to this story here. Rebel Pundit is the name of the website, rebelpundit.com, and then go to their YouTube page, which is also called Rebel Pundit. Out in front of the convention, a CNN reporter, and this is very typical of bias in the media, so we're going to look at this again. Cameraman Andrew Marcus, here we go.
What do you think about the fact that white supremacists support Trump?
What the hell does that got to do with Donald Trump? He's not a racist. I'm sick of that.
What do you think about what he just said to you? That's maybe not a fair question to ask if you're just trying to associate Trump with racism. Do Black Panthers support Obama?
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Do Black Panthers support Obama, sir?
This is when the CNN
Sure.
reporter is walking away.
Do Black Panthers support Obama?
Yeah. And Andrew, I think I hear you laughing there as the guy walks away and tries to ignore you. So for those people who are listening on the audio stream, here's what you didn't see. But you can go back to my website, boldrepublic.com. There's a show archives. You can watch video of the entire show, which is live right now on YouTube and Google+. Anyway, so there's a black man who supports Donald Trump. He's wearing a Trump hat. A CNN reporter walks up to him, is asking him questions. I don't know, maybe the CNN reporter can't square the idea of a black man supporting Donald Trump. I mean, obviously, how could you? Trump's a racist, obviously, right? So he asked the question, if there are racist organizations that support Donald Trump, what do you think about that? Great answer. The hell does that have to do with Donald Trump? He's not a racist. Is this by association, folks? Obviously it is. That would be guilt by association. If the KKK, which by the way was started by Democrats, if they endorsed Donald Trump, does that mean that Trump is a racist? No. But they like him. So, turnabout's fair play. Black Panthers, racist organization, support Obama. I guess Obama's a racist. But let's get back to the CNN reporter. The moment he was called out on this, you could see how uncomfortable he got. Was he intentionally being biased and leading the story or not? I don't know. I'm not in the guy's head. I'll tell you the impression that I got. I don't think that all media bias is necessarily intentional. If you are a conservative thinker and you were a reporter, that's how you're going to approach every single story from your conservative point of view. A liberal approaches a story from a liberal point of view. That's just the way it is. It's who you are. You can't help yourself. I'm more of a libertarian-ish kind of guy. I'm a big liberty guy. The moment somebody tries to tell me what to do, well, they're just an authoritarian jerk is all there is to it. That's how I see the world. And so if I were a reporter, that's how I would report on the world. So the impression that I got was the reporter was asking what he thought was a legitimate question. And then when the bias of his question was exposed, he seemed to get embarrassed. And I wonder if that night, lying in bed in his hotel room, he was wrestling with, oh my God, did I do something biased? Was that bias? Now, that's what I'm hoping. I'm giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. I'm hoping that's what happened when he went back to his hotel room. But in many cases, something completely different happens. The reporter will walk away in denial, does not want to admit in his own mind that he would ever do anything, think anything that was biased, report a story in a biased way. And so he finds a way to live in denial because I'm not a bad person. I would never do something. I didn't mean it to be biased. So it wasn't biased. I was just I was asking a question there. I don't see what the big deal is. I'm afraid the reporter might end up doing that. I don't know the guy. I'm just thinking typically how people are. Typically.
Let off a little steam? Yep, that's why we installed phone lines into the studio. Call Glenn now. Bold Republic is on the air.
Ah, summertime. You know, the great outdoors. You know what half the fun is with getting away from it all? Shopping. I mean, we're talking guns, bows, arrows, knives, camping equipment, from tents to sleeping bags, clothing, bug spray, fishing line, lures, tackle bait, cooking equipment, MREs, even all the latest electronic gadgets, and they've got it all at Rocky Mountain Discount Sports with locations throughout Wyoming. So no matter what you need, before you head out into the great outdoors, do some shopping. That's half the fun, isn't it? Rocky Mountain Discount Sports.
Can carpet stand up to wine, chocolate, and even bleach? Life-proof carpet from the Home Depot can. And right now, you can get free installation on any carpet, including Life-proof. That's the carpet, the pad, and the installation. This is the next generation of carpet. Visit your local Home Depot store to schedule a measure today. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid on basic installation through July 27th. Minimum $500 purchase of carpet and pad, U.S. only.
President Obama's Environmental Protection Agency is considering new regulations on ozone that could trigger some new crazy laws, such as bans on lawn mowing during certain times of the day, new parking space taxes, and new fees based on how many miles you drive your car. Visit stoptheepa.com to tell your legislator that President Obama's EPA should stay out of our wallets.
You critics don't define our honor. You try to shame us for doing our job. You teach children to fear us, crowds to attack us, and good people to doubt us. But we will never back down from our sworn duty to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. We wake up every day, put on our badge, strap a gun to our hips, kiss our families goodbye, and put our lives between the law-abiding and any criminal who threatens their rights. We serve people of every color and creed, men, women, and children in violent, dangerous neighborhoods, because they have the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as CEOs, movie stars, and the political elite. We are Americans, and we are the American police officer. We stand with the National Rifle Association of America, and the NRA stands with us. Together, we're freedom's safest place.
Hello, my name is Carl, and I'm running for Congress in your district. I'm not an expert in anything. Nothing. Not a thing. But I sure know how to look like I know what I'm talking about, and that's why I'm electable. I'm not an expert on guns, or finance, or science. Heck, I flunked science in school 3 times. I know nothing about automobiles or engines of any kind. I know nothing about energy. Gas, coal, oil, green energy, whatever that means. I've never held a gun in my life, and actually I'm kind of scared to. But if you elect me into office, I promise to pass laws regulating everything that I know nothing about. I promise to act like the expert that I never really could be, because I cannot pass the test to get a job in that field to save my life. But I can regulate it. Yes, that's what America needs today. Experts in nothing to regulate everything. After all, isn't that what government does best?
High hopes, he's got high hopes, he's got high apple pie in the sky.
Back in my day, we didn't have so many warning labels on things. People weren't so freaking stupid.
It's the Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget the Bold Republic app. You can at any time hear the program. Look, it's an on-demand world, so you can listen to the program live off your local radio stations. Thank you, affiliates. You can listen to the show later or live off of your app. And the app works this way. Just go to your app store, type in Bold Republic. That's that little round logo pops up. That's the one that Tim from Tampa designed. And then you just download it. Free, absolutely free, pun intended. There, listen to the show live, later, start and stop it when you want, download it to your phone, takes up a little amount of space, on demand, whatever you want. Okay, so if you would please, I'm doing some house cleaning here. We're reaching the end of the week. We just got done with the Republican convention, so we must get this out of the way. If you would all stand. If you're sitting in a vehicle listening on the radio, sit up straight, if you would, please. Covers off. For those people who have no idea what that means, really, take your hats off. Helmets, wigs, toupees. You, the idiot with the comb over. The hell, man. Flop that thing back. It's time for the bold pledge.
I, incite name here, am a free man or woman, one or the other. Pick one. None of this gender neutral crap. I do not allow others to make rules for my life, and I mind my own friggin' business and leave others alone. I live off my own hard work, I contribute to society, and I am not a stinking mooch with 12 Obama phones. I will boldly defend the freedom and liberty our forefathers gave us, like my Uncle Vinny in World War II. You mooch is free today because of his service, so show some friggin' respect. Now with today's sermon, here's Glenn Wood.
All right, that's the Bold Liberty Pledge. You may all have a seat now and return to normal or slump if you are driving. Helmets and hats and all that good stuff back on, wigs and so on, except you with the comb over. Okay, look, enough. I'm giving it to the end of the weekend here. You got Saturday, you have Friday, Saturday. For the love of God, man. You're not fooling anyone. Do you know people take pictures of you when you're not looking and post them on the internet? Got it? You are the subject of internet memes and some really cruel ones with that comb over. Just get it shaved. All right, moving on here. Oh, okay. Not done with this stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a bold news alert. Here's the Dan outside.
Thanks, Glenn. Solar rays from our nearest star is causing me to sweat.
That would be the sun. Okay, well, that's the Dan broadcasting live. Well, look, it works for other news organizations. Fox News, we're just trying to build the ratings here. Fox News will go ahead and do its Fox News alert. And when you have something like what's happening in Munich right now, no disrespect intended, they would have a Fox News alert, bang, and then they have something important to tell you, so you pay attention to the television. But what about when there's nothing going on? Well, they still need to get your attention now and then, so they throw in the news alert, and you turn and look. The hell? This is nothing. That wasn't, why did you news alert me about that? I was doing something over here. Okay, so if it works for Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, then I'm going to do it here too, just to get your attention once in a while. All right, few things going on that this show we're going to be on, the Bold Republic crew and we're going to be on over the next few weeks. First off, I told you the story. Remember the Andy Johnson story? That started here on this radio show. Andy Johnson was the rancher / welder. He's a welder who has some cows. He lives out in the southwestern part of Wyoming. And yes, that's every bit as beautiful and romantic as that sounds. You got to see his place. So you head out there, and he built this stock pond, and it's a beautiful stock pond right out in his front yard. There's a dock, you can go swimming, and it's meant for his animals to go up and have a drink. Well, of course, the EPA comes crashing down on him. And he's a welder with a couple of cows. How is he going to fight $75,000 a day in fines and so on? So we got him on the radio show here. Then we did what we could to get the people he needed to him. Like, here's a good lawyer that will help him out without charging him a ton of money. Contacts lists for he ended up on John Stossel and other Fox News shows. Well, all of that started because we gave Andy the places to go to start and some connections, and he picked up that ball and just ran with it. And he won. He beat the EPA, and he made them look like fools doing it. Way to go, Andy. Well, Andy called me about a gentleman in Montana, 77 years old, having pretty much the same problem. 77 years old, retired. Owns just a little piece of property in Montana. Did not build a stock pond. On his acreage, he built just several little, I want to call them like craters. They're about the size of a kid's bedroom in your house. And these little holes just held some water for his animals. That's it. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't connect to any other waterways. Here comes the EPA. Okay, so he goes to court. Andy Johnson called me the other day, just absolutely livid because this old guy, 77 years old, retired, wife, between the fines he'll never be able to afford. The judge threw the book at him and it got led off to jail. Never really got a chance to have a trial on this. All right, well, I started yesterday. And I've got some people that are involved in this story that are going to come on the program and talk about it. But I started off yesterday just trying to get in touch with elected officials in Montana. Because here in Wyoming, I'm not a big fan of our Governor Matt Mead, but he had Andy's back. He was there for him. The state of Wyoming was there to help Andy Johnson if he needed it. Montana, where's the governor? Where are the state legislators? And if you call someone in the House and Senate in Washington, D.C. that represents Montana, they will politely talk to you, but then do nothing. So I'm looking for this story. I mean, this is a pretty big story. This guy was just hauled off to jail. So I go combing through Montana media, newspaper, television, talk radio shows. Somebody's got to be covering this. I found one local newspaper that covers the story. That's it. So after trying to get a hold of some elected officials in Montana, which so far nobody's answered back, but I'm going to keep bothering them, I then try to get a hold of some media organizations, including the Billings Gazette. Billings, Montana is just to the east of where this gentleman lives. So I consider it to be in their jurisdiction as a newspaper. If he reads the newspaper, he reads the Billings Gazette. Trust me. So now I got to get a hold of some television stations and some talk stations up there, which I did in the Billings area, but outside that area. Hey, guys. You might want to cover this story. This is kind of a big deal. You don't even mention it. How do they not know that this story is happening? It's not on the radar screen for some reason? Okay, well, the Andy Johnson story was not on the radar screen at first. We had to kind of help Andy get it. And again, we would hand the ball off to him. Man, did he run with it. But to get attention around the state, we worked really hard on that and then moved outside of the state. So I'm doing the same thing with this gentleman. Myself, the Bold Republic crew, we're getting together to just start off with media attention and attention with the elected officials, because they got to know that this is the EPA winning in this case? Absolutely not. That's every bit as bad, as far as I'm concerned, as Hillary Clinton walking. So, okay, we're going to get the attention of the proper people. We're going to get a hold of the media in Montana and ask them, are you covering this? Why aren't you covering this? And with enough attention, we can help this guy out. It starts with getting attention of the media and then the elected officials, and not just to get them to say something about it, but here's the hard part: getting the elected officials in Montana to actually do something.
You're listening to Glenn Woods on the Bold Republic program.
Sending your kids out to play.
Now hold still.
Mommy, I can't breathe.
Well, playtime's not what it used to be.
How am I supposed to go out and play if I can't even move?
Well, with all the dangers that are out there in the world, like Nerf, soccer balls, hugs, and who knows, your kid might come across a 5-year-old selling lemonade on their front lawn after school.
Now this is for your own safety. Put your helmet on.
It's hot and all this stuff.
Don't take any chances in today's dangerous world. Make sure to bubble wrap your kids before they step out the front door.
This isn't fun anymore. I don't want to go out and play if it isn't fun anymore.
Don't forget knee pads, shoulder pads, elbow pads, and helmets. Earplugs in case you hear any offensive words. 911 on speed dial on their cell phone. The number of a counselor, just in case they see, hear, feel, smell anything that might be considered remotely offensive. Better idea, just keep them inside. It's far too dangerous out there in the real world. The West. We moved here to be free, to get away from overbearing government rules, regulations, taxes, and to secure our liberty, except that they found us. So we have to restore the West to what it was meant to be, and we have a plan.
Sorry, sir. You don't speak English. You in Mexico. You make a wrong turn.
Let's move them along, folks. Herd them on through.
Hey! Can't you read, boy? No guns, no service. Where's your sidearm?
Whenever you come across a California license plate or someone from the East Coast like Massachusetts or New York, do whatever you can to keep them moving.
Sorry, sir. Wyoming has declared California license plates illegal. So has Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Nebraska. I'm afraid you can't stop until you get to Illinois.
Yes, the West will be the West again. As soon as we run off all the bleeding hearts, and we're working on it. Help us out, won't you? Brought to you by the Restore the West Foundation. BoldRepublic.com.
If globalism is so bad for our economy, what's the alternative? I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, and this right angle is made possible by the members at BillWhittle.com. Well, from both sides of the political aisle, 2016 has brought a lot of talk about the negative impact of globalism on our economy. But it's not always clear what's meant by the term. You would expect that Donald Trump supporters mean something different than Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders supporters do, but they all call for protective tariffs and punishing taxes. Now, there's no denying that commerce is planetary, with the internet now reaching to places that used to require a 3-day boat trip upriver. But what happens when a textile mill in Hyderabad or a computer factory in Guangzhou can make stuff for less than their competition can in Charlotte or Fort Worth? Should the U.S. government step in to level the playing field? What about when that Indian mill is a contractor for a Delaware-based corporation and the Chinese one cranks out designs hatched in Cupertino? Well, Stephen Green, blaming globalists for our economic doldrums is a bipartisan sport. But how can you square your bedrock free market sensibilities and respect for individual liberty with the market meddling that both sides sell as the solution to protect U.S. jobs?
Well, it's not my job to do that. My job is to explain to people why free markets work. Look, you don't increase wealth by just adding more inputs to get more outputs. You increase wealth, you grow the pie, you increase the size of the pie by increasing productivity. So if it used to take 2 million steel workers to produce X amount of steel, well, we are now richer today that it only takes 200,000 steel workers to produce even more steel. Steel is cheaper. And you want to talk about competing with foreigners. You know, this country is maybe 5% of the world's population, and we produce almost 25% of the world's wealth. We compete and we win every single day, 24/7. And we do it in a self-sustaining way, too. You know, Japan tried to export its way to wealth, and about 30 years ago, they hit a brick wall, and the Japanese economy has never fully recovered. China is approaching that brick wall, and they know it. They're at a point where you've got an air conditioner company that's paying their suppliers in air conditioners because they have no cash to pay their suppliers. So they're up to their asses in air conditioners that they can't even sell to us at Walmart for $106 at a profit. So yeah, we compete and we win, and we do it every single day. And what we do, and get back to the steel industry example here for just a second, is Donald Trump is out there saying, oh, we're losing on this, we're losing on these bad deals. Well, yes and no. We shouldn't be trying to compete with China on cost. We should be competing with China on quality, and we do that, and we win on that. And we have, I think it's about a dozen complaints in the World Trade Organization against China and other companies dumping steel. So we are taking care of that. That's built into the agreements. Now, this TPP thing, that's not a free trade agreement. That's a thing that puts us all in hock to Hollywood and Google and software makers for the next jillion years, as best I understand the thing. That needs to be trashed. But the point is, you don't get wealthy by trade protectionism. You don't get wealthy by protecting outdated jobs that can be done more efficiently. You get wealthy by doing the latest and greatest thing at a great big obscene profit that nobody else in the world can match, and that's where America excels.
Well, Bill Whittle, I have not yet heard any complaints from you that those darn Chinese are unloading cheap sweatshop news commentary shows that undercut your cost structure at BillWhittle.com. Why would a limited government guy ever want the federal government to tweak the infinitely complex free markets in order to crush the evil globalists?
Well, I don't. I think that there's a lot to be said here. First of all, if the market is free, I'm in favor of it. But when other countries are imposing tariffs on our imports and we don't impose them back, well, then that's not playing fair, and then you're just a sucker. You know, we've done many shows where we've talked about this idea of the prisoner's dilemma in terms of how two parties interact with each other. And if the same opponent is being played again and again and again, called the iterated prisoner's dilemma, then the correct strategy is to play tit for tat. And to start off fair, and if somebody cheats you, then you cheat them back. And the second they stop cheating you, you stop cheating them back. That is the way that you get the most success on looking at this as a actual mathematical model. So I think we should have free trade with everybody, but if somebody's laying tariffs on us, particular country, we smack them down, hit them with the tariffs back. So that's the first thing. And that also argument that applies to currency manipulation. Secondly, though, we have to face the fact that what we're in is we are in a transitional time on a macro scale that none of us really appreciate. If you read the history of why the communists got started and the whole proletariat and things, it was only 100 years ago.
For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the Right Angle team, I'm Scott Ott. Thank you to the members at billwhittle.com for making this happen.
I'm American. That's right. I'm American. Got a picture hanging above my fire. Next to the deer I shot with my rifle. NRA, hell yeah, I support 'em. I hate my job and I hate my boss, but I love my country and I pray to God that the Cowboys win. Just clap your hands if you love our country, if you love our land. That's right. If you're not clapping your hands, you're a terrorist and you eat sand. Sandwich.
Irreverent, but honest and tastefully tacky somehow. Here comes another hour of insensitivity training with Glenn Woods.
And I live in America. Come on. And I live in America. I'm American.
It's the second hour, Friday edition, Open Phones, Bold Republic Radio Show. Let's do this. Phone number to get involved, 844-700-BOLD or 844-700-2653. And pretty much everything I'm talking about and a whole lot more. Website is boldrepublic.com. Quick, I'm updating you guys with what's happening in Munich. As the news comes to me, here's the latest that we have. Looks like a total of 6 dead. That's all I have. That's pretty much new. The whole thing started in a food court around McDonald's. Somebody opened fire. Yes, they are suspecting terrorism at this point. Police were there, started shooting back. As far as the fate of the gunman, far as I know, he dead, but hold on. Let's wait till I get some confirmation of that and other stories. Things are still coming in, still sketchy. As I get the stories, I'll let you know. All right. Now, I'm about to give you a story of election fraud. Like you may have never heard it before. Those when voting, look, there's always been election fraud, and well, for example, no, I can't use that as an example. I was about to say when we find dead Democrat voters. Well, to be fair, I think the Democrats are right about that. The dead should be allowed to vote. They should be. Well, look, we fought a revolution over taxation without representation, right? Okay. Do we tax the dead? Answer: yes. Well, if the dead are taxed, then they should be represented, right? And they should be given a right to vote. So a bunch of Democrat volunteers that really do care about dead people, well, they already deal with brain dead people, so why not go all out dead and care about them? So they go to all of the different cemeteries around the country and write down names of dead people. And then, see, if you're wondering why all the dead vote Democrat, brain dead zombies, come on. Today, we're using computers more than ever before. And because of that, were you worried that because we were using computers that somebody could just defraud us through some computer program amalgam thing or whatever they call that? Yeah, it happens. All right. Listen up. Have you ever heard this story before? Here is a man standing in front of, I don't know if this is a committee or a court, but here we go.
And where do you reside?
Tallahassee, Florida.
And what is your profession?
I'm a computer programmer.
Mr. Curtis, are there programs that can be used to secretly fix elections?
Yes.
How do you know that to be the case?
Because in October of 2000, I wrote a prototype for President Congressman Tom Feeney at the company I work for in Oviedo, Florida, that did just that.
And when you say did just that, it would rig an election?
It would flip the vote 51-49.
And would that program that you designed be something that elections officials that might be on county boards of elections could detect?
They would never see it.
So how would such a program, a secret program that fixes the election, how could it be detected?
You would have to view it either in the source code, or you'd have to have a receipt and then count the hard paper against the actual vote total. Other than that, you won't see it.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said before I played that. Hey, you sitting down? So if anyone fell over, completely my fault. I apologize for that. So, okay, can you rig a vote with a computer? Yeah, write a computer program. Is the program detectable? No, not unless you are in there looking at the code. If you know the code and computer code, have you ever looked at it? Well, I ask that because there are people out there who can honestly say, no, I've never looked at computer code. It is a solid page after page after page of numbers and symbols. 011100, hashtags and parentheses and commands, and it's pretty complicated. So you would have to know how to read that stuff. And then you would have to know that you're looking at something that was a code that would actually rig the machine to do something. The only other way, he said, is if you actually were counting the ballots by hand and you notice that the physical ballot count was different than the machine, then you would go, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Now, you guys, we've talked about this. I've gotten some calls from you out there about this. Election voting machines that were tested, and it always seems to go for the Democrat. I don't know why it never seems to go. And I'm not saying, guys, I'm not saying the Republicans are perfect. I'm not big fans of Republicans either, okay? But the majority of the fraud is on the side of the Democrats. So here's somebody with one of those touchscreen voting machines, and they touch for the Republican candidate, and somehow it blips over and registers the Democrat. That's been caught many times. So are they being rigged out there? Yes. Well, I'm bringing this up because we're coming up on an election cycle. Now, during the last few election cycles, fraud has been caught. Isn't it interesting? Do you know what gaslighting is? Gaslighting, it's a famous movie called Gaslight. In Gaslighting, or in the movie Gaslight, there is a woman who gets married, and things are happening around the house that are just not right. Something weird is happening. And every so often she'll turn to her husband, why is this happening? Why is that happening? I don't understand. This is wrong. This isn't right. And the husband will turn to her and say, oh, honey, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, she's talking about something that's right in front of him. What? What's there? I don't see it. Well, this is back in the days before the electric light bulb. So little by little, he turns down the gas light. That's how the house is lit, gas lights. Just a little bit over time. The house is getting darker at night. And she'll complain, it's awful dark around here. Really? I see just fine. He keeps lying to her. Oh, I see just fine. What do you mean it's getting darker? Are you okay? Should I call a doctor? You're seeing things that aren't there, and now you're saying everything's getting darker when it's perfectly bright out. I don't understand what you're talking about. I'll call a doctor if you want. Now, at some point in the movie, near the end, she gets the evidence that he's rigging the gas lights, and he is up to no good. But he had her fooled for a while there. She was thinking that she was crazy. Well, that's what I see happen here. We have a gentleman, I just played you the audio/video for. Sir, can you rig a computer to rig an election? Yes, I've done it. Is it detectable? No. Not unless you're a computer program and know how to read the code. You would never see it. How many times have we caught people who they lived, let's say somebody lived in Massachusetts, and then they lived in Virginia, and then they moved out to South Dakota. They have not been away from Massachusetts or Virginia for very long, so they still are registered to vote in Massachusetts and Virginia. And so they will get absentee ballots and vote 3 times. It's happened. We've caught a few people doing it. And yet we're being told by Democrats, that doesn't happen. That really doesn't. Project Veritas. James O'Keefe, I love their stuff. Goes into voting precincts. Yeah, my name is Joe Schmuck. I just moved in down the road here. I haven't got a chance to register to vote. So, okay, well, here, I tell you what. Here's your ballot and just go vote. Well, you don't need any ID or anything from me? No, you're good. And doesn't that open up for voter fraud? And then we find out that people have actually done that and voted multiple times. There's a woman that started an organization to detect and expose voter fraud. And she's a Democrat. And she was mad because when Barack Obama was running for president the first time, she was a Hillary supporter. And when it came time to vote for Hillary, well, there was intimidation, coercion, and obviously somebody had rigged the vote. So she got mad at the Democrat Party because, well, the Obama people did all they could to make sure the Hillary people couldn't vote, or if they did, it didn't count, or it was changed. That's why she started this organization that even Republicans have joined with her. And then we're told that, oh, well, no, it's racist to say that someone should show proper ID in order to vote. That's racist? That's racist. Really? No, that's not racist. What that is gaslighting me. That's what that is. You're gaslighting. You're slowly turning down the lights and telling me that, oh, no, everything's just fine. It's just the same. There's no voter fraud going on around here. You haven't seen any voter fraud. There's no voter fraud here. Don't know what you're talking about. You must be racist. And that's what they try to convince the nation of, so they can continue to get away with their voter fraud. You and I both know the reason that the Democrats want so many illegal immigrants in this country. The reason they want it is because, well, most of those people end up getting, well, they vote Democrat after they get all sorts of free stuff from the Democrat Party. Welfare benefits and so on. You want them here because you know they're going to vote Democrat, because you gave them you got them into the country and gave them a bunch of free stuff. Oh, that's not why we want them here. Really? Well, let me ask you this, Mr. and Mrs. Democrat. If those illegal immigrants were voting Republican, would you want them in the country?
Everything Glenn talks about is on his website. And that website is updated daily to keep you informed and scared. BoldRepublic.com.
You know, a lot of people buy expensive razors to get a great shave. Some people even belong to Razor Club. And while a good razor certainly does go a long way, none of that means a thing if you haven't properly prepared your face or your legs or your underarms or wherever for that shave. It's the preparation that's the key. That's where Shave Secret comes in. You don't need any soaps or oils or aftershave, none of that. Shave Secret is the best shave ever. Simply put, the best shave ever. 100% natural oils. Comes in a little bottle that looks like an eyedropper bottle. Just wet the face, 3 drops. It doesn't even lather. It'll help heal any nicks and cuts, helps with dry skin, rashes, shave bumps, ingrown hairs, and a whole lot more. And it's a perfect size to travel with, too. Look them up online. Shave Secret. It's simply the best shave ever. A 100% natural product that'll prepare your face for the shave. Shave Secret.
On behalf of the people of Ireland, I'd like to thank the American Congress for failing to reform your tax code. The corporate tax rate is 35%, the highest in the world, almost 3 times the Irish rate. So, for creating jobs all over Europe.
Welcome to Socialist America. For your convenience, we would like to introduce you to the Affordable Care Act. This voluntary program is mandated by the federal government with a fine that is not a fine or a tax, though you'll have to pay it through the IRS if you disobey. Your cooperation, you will comply, is appreciated. To save the American family as much money as possible, the Affordable Health Care Act has caused the price of health insurance to skyrocket. In fact, healthcare has become so expensive that many companies have chosen to drop healthcare coverage for their employees. Those who do not have health insurance will be dealt with, fined by a mandated tax that is not a tax or a mandate. Your federal government looking out for you every day. As usual, employees of the state are exempt from mandatory citizen regulations. And as always, thank you for your cooperation.
What's a good cup of coffee if you can't spit it across the dashboard now and then, right? Oh, yeah, and ruin a good work shirt. Sure, burn the hell out of your inner thighs. We know what you need, though, in a radio program.
Irreverent but honest. And tastefully tacky. It's Glenn Woods.
Friday edition, Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. As always, pretty much everything that I talk about and a whole lot more, you find it on my website, which is boldrepublic.com. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we got to step aside for a bold news alert on location. Here is the Dan.
Exercising in the blistering heat can really cause disorientation and other reasons.
Well, yeah.
Be careful in this heat.
Yeah, be careful. It's going to warm out there, and God knows where you'll wind up. The Dan with a bold news alert. Absolutely pointless, like most other news alerts that you'll find on pretty much any cable news show that is out there. Okay. Now, I am very proud to have been one of those who put together, and I thank everybody who's been helping me, the Stay Out the Vote campaign. And I'm just going to take a moment to ask you, because this is a very important issue for your country, if you can help other people to stay out the vote as well. Now, before anybody gets upset, if you haven't heard about this campaign before, don't jump to assumptions on what I'm doing here. I do this every single year, every election cycle. I step up with the Stay Out the Vote campaign, and there's always somebody, people have a right to vote. I never said they didn't. Well, people should vote. I agree. I also want people to live up to their responsibility of being an informed voter. So if you don't know, well, here, pop quiz. Who's your mayor? Governor. In Washington, D.C., how many senators do you have? That's an easy one. You should know this. Okay, so if any of those questions were difficult for you, you got a problem. Election time is going to come up, and what are you going to do? Guess? What are you going on? A feeling? Well, I think he looks kind of creepy. She wears funny shoes. Her nose whines and whistles when she talks. I don't like her. What are you going on when you vote? This is pretty damn important, Okay. So if you are somebody who just slacks off and doesn't study and then walks in and guesses on election day, I got news for you. Part of the reason that your country is in so much trouble is you. So do your country a favor, stay home. Now, we will provide for you a list of places you can order fast food from, a great Netflix movie, stuff like that. We will even give you an I voted sticker, so you can go tell your boss you're going to vote. Go have a beer and then come back and, yeah, that's right, I got an I voted sticker because I was out voting, when all you really did was hang out with your buddies and have a beer. What took you so long to vote? Oh, the line. Gosh, the line. That is the Stay Out the Vote campaign. Go to the website for this, stayoutthevote.com. There's a radio commercial. There's a television commercial. You can grab the links and pass them around. Here's a sample.
Darling, would you fetch me a beer out of the fridge?
So, I know everything about the Kardashians, Beyonce, and stuff like that. But I know nothing about who my governor is or whoever runs the state. So this year I'm doing my patriotic duty and stay out the vote.
Thank you, darling. I can give you every major stat for the Rockies for the last 15 years, but I can't tell you who the mayor of Denver is. That's the reason why this year I'm doing my patriotic duty and stay out the vote.
Too lazy to stay informed? Then stay home. Stay out the vote. Your country is counting on you. There you go. It's very important that you do your patriotic duty and not show up. And look, if you just kind of say, well, you know, I'm really not interested in politics and you're too lazy, well, I would say go ahead and just embrace that and live up to it. For some people, their patriotic duty is showing up as an informed voter and doing the right thing. And I'm one of those guys. I'm more informed than most people, but I'm not bragging. That's my job. That's what I do for a living in order to do this show. But for those of you who can't even tell me who your stinking mayor is, you don't know how many senators you have or who is your senator. Name one. Okay. Do your country a favor. We don't need uninformed people showing up and voting on election day. It's hard enough to keep the dead from voting on election day. Now, I would think the most uninformed voters that there could possibly be would be dead people. They vote like crazy, especially in Chicago. They vote like crazy. Well, are they laying around watching TV? Do coffins come with televisions anymore? Okay, so what are we doing here? How are they getting any kind of news or information in order to know what to do to show up and vote? Yet, dead people have been caught voting. You know what's really interesting? I always thought about dead people voting. Let's go to a Chicago graveyard, where you got to give credit to Chicago dead people, because wow, they must be really patriotic. They vote in droves every single year. Well, it seems that most of the people that are in those graves tend to vote in groups. So it's like, here is a block of graves in the graveyard, and they all get up together and go to the polling place. It'd be one thing if it was one dead person on this side of the graveyard voted, and another person quarter of a mile away on the other side of the graveyard voted. But that's not what's happening. It's as if you take one concentration of graves in Chicago, a group of dead people, as if they all got up together. Hey, let's go vote. And they all, slimed off or whatever they do, drag their left heel off to vote. Well, it's either someone's gathering all their names or all the dead people are going together. You tell me. I don't know.
This is a generic liner. Kind of boring, isn't it?
America is taking the lead in energy.
Leading the world in oil and natural gas production. I vote to keep it going. With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs, opportunity, and economic growth
for our children
and grandchildren.
That's why this election I'm voting
for American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us
and become an energy voter.
Summertime. The great outdoors. You know what half the fun is with getting away from it all? Shopping. I mean, we're talking guns, bows, arrows, knives, camping equipment, from tents to sleeping bags, clothing, bug spray, fishing line, lures, tackle bait, cooking equipment, MREs, even all the latest electronic gadgets, and they've got it all at Rocky Mountain Discount Sports with locations throughout Wyoming. So no matter what you need, before you head out into the great outdoors, do some shopping. That's half the fun, isn't it? Rocky Mountain Discount Sports.
Bold Republic.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Fiscal Friday. This is Best Buyers with a Generation Empowered. In wake of last week's tragic shootings, social media has been ablaze. Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. The one hashtag not trending, militarization matters, and it should be. Between 2008 and 2014, the federal government spent $1.48 billion to militarize domestic agencies with guns, ammo, and supplies. Our friends at Open the Books released an in-depth report on the militarization of America. In addition to the sheer cost, the report revealed several other frightening findings. Finding number 1, non-military federal spending on guns and ammo has jumped 104%, from $55 million in 2006 to $112 million in 2011. Finding number 2, the Department of Homeland Security since 2004 has purchased 1.7 billion rounds of ammo. And as of January 1st, 2014, DHS estimates its bullet reserves at 22 months, or 160 million rounds. And finding number 3, between 1998 and 2008, the number of law enforcement officers employed by federal agencies almost doubled, from 83,000 to 120,000. If you look at Department of Homeland Security, they increased their agents from 55,000 in 2008 to 70,000 in 2013. But why would they do that?
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
In 8 years, DHS has spent over $584 million on guns, ammo, and equipment. The agency currently employs 240,000 people in various departments like the TSA, FEMA, Secret Service, and Immigration Enforcement. Included in these purchases is 453 million rounds of hollow point ammunition, which are currently banned in international warfare per the Hague Convention. That's more than one hollow point for every man, woman, and child in America. But tell me again how we need to ban guns. So who else is stockpiling on your dime? The top 5 federal agencies to purchase guns, ammo, and military-style equipment are the State Department at $217 million, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement at $210 million, U.S. Customs and Border Protection at $162 million, the Federal Prison System at $157 million, and the Assistant Secretary of Health at $121 million. Oh no, friends, that's not all. Other agencies to purchase military-style equipment include the TSA, the Office of Policy, Budget, and Administration, the Department of Energy, the National Park Service, the IRS, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Bureau of Public Debt, and the Social Security Administration. One agency most concerning to us is the IRS, who spent $10.71 million on military-style equipment between 2006 and 2014. This includes $6.5 million on guns and ammo, and $4.2 million on equipment, including Glock pistols, .40 caliber ammo, HK-416 rifles, and HK mags. The IRS currently employs over 2,300 agents, and while that number has decreased by over 1,000 personnel in the last 2 decades, the IRS's investment in military equipment has more than doubled. Then again, the IRS realistically only exists through force and fear, because if you don't pay taxes, you go to jail. Other red flags in federal spending, the Environmental Protection Agency has spent over $715 million on its Criminal Enforcement Division from 2005 to present. This includes $3.1 million on guns, ammo, and military-style equipment. The Veterans Administration has spent $11.7 million. This includes over $200,000 on night vision equipment, $2.3 million on personal armor, $2 million on guns, and $3.6 million on ammo. It's too bad that money didn't go to, like, say, maybe veterans' health care. Lastly, the Assistant Secretary of Health and Health Human Services spent over $121 million. So tell me, why would 2 health agencies need to spend over $100 million on military-style equipment? Turns out this was a coding mistake, aka cooking the books. They were trying to detract from more Department of Defense-related expenses. Phew! Speaking of military, Newt Gingrich recently said,
"The police are domestically what the military is overseas. They are the line of defense for civilization."
Except military personnel are trained to kill the enemy. Police are hired to protect and serve. Once we militarize police, citizens have become the enemy. In our last video, commenters dismissed gun ownership, saying the government has drones and bombs. Well, you're right. And they've started using them. The Andros F5 robot, which carried explosives to the Dallas gunman, is owned by Northrop Grumman, a defense contractor, and the 4th largest recipient of federal funds. This is Best Buyers, signing off. And remember, it's your generation and your empowered.
It's a Friday edition. Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. During the course of the weekend, we always had a lot of stuff to the website. So don't think that just because the weekend's hit, we're not keeping you informed. But also, there's just a lot of weird stuff. Daily Weirdness page, This Weekend Stupid, worth going to because, well, let's face it. I had some people ask me when I first put up the This Weekend Stupid page and the Daily Weirdness page, oh, you did like news and commentary and stuff. What's all this? Because sometimes it just gets exhausting. And I've had callers call the show. I get tired of listening to talk radio all the time and all the news. Take a break. That's why I put that stuff on the website. It's so you can just, while you're looking at all the news that's making your head explode, you just stop for a minute. So anyway, all of that's available, boldrepublic.com. We update it during the course of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your bold lie of the week. I know, for your bold lie of the week. This week, a black Donald Trump supporter is asked a race-baiting question by a CNN reporter.
About the fact that white supremacists support Trump.
Now that was the lie. Here's the response.
What the hell has that got to do with Donald Trump? He's not a racist. I'm sick of that.
Go get him, boy.
The way you
This has been your bold lie of the week. See, what really surprised me about the bold lie of the week, I have a good time picking it every single week, finding out which one is the biggest lie. And so often it's the same people. I mean, I just got tired and worried that you guys were going to get sick and tired of me constantly picking Hillary as the liar of the week, picking Obama as the liar of the week, Nancy Pelosi. It's the same old usual suspects, right? So to have something that happened outside of the convention like that, got it. Okay, no good. Now, to give you a clue as to the lie in there, well, so some racist organizations have decided to endorse Donald Trump. Does that make Trump a racist? No, that would be called a lie. It's also a cover-up lie. Well, the Black Panthers endorsed Barack Obama, but the CNN reporter doesn't mention that. There's another way to lie and something like that. All right, so literally no one visited the hilariously lame RNC safe space from thedailycaller.com. I told you about this. Well, there's a university that's right near where the Republicans were holding their convention, right? Okay. And a lot of police for this convention. Well, where do you put all the police? And they're not all from the state of Ohio. They're from around the country. So where do you put these guys? They need a place to sleep. Well, the university right up the road has a dorm that wasn't being used. So they said, hey, you can house them here. So some students wrote letters and complained, and oh my God, police are going to be here. Oh, they have guns. Oh, they've killed people. We've seen it on the news. And they want safe spaces. The idiot president of the university who needs, starting Monday, to be looking for a job. He needs to be fired today. Monday, he goes looking for a job. Actually apologized to the kids at the university. Oh, this is a trigger warning. There's police around. Oh, my gosh. Yeah? Okay, so I want to ask those triggered kids at the university. Something bad happens. Who you calling? Does 911 come to mind? And by the way, that safe space you're in? Okay, so let's pretend, with all due respect to the police officers listening, we're going to pretend for a moment that the police officers there were actually a danger. Because, police officers carry guns. And because there's a gun in the room, whoever's there might suddenly just, the police officer, because he has a gun on his hip, might just freak out at any moment and just go and start killing people. So they're going to, the college kids are going to go into the building that is a gun-free zone and into the room marked safe space. Now, I'm sure if some police officer had, freaked out that he's going to go to that building, oh, I can't go in here and just randomly kill people. There's a sign up there that says gun-free zone. I guess I will have to stop at the threshold. If he doesn't see that sign, don't worry. There's that sign on the door that says safe space. So he can't go in there because the sign's there. That protects you guys, right? And yet somehow these kids at the university think that they're the smartest people on the planet. Well, from the Daily Caller story, love this. What looks like to hold up a special safe space or the RNC, very, very sad. Turns out unless you really like coloring books. Yes, they put coloring books in safe spaces. Case Western Reserve University. And I just told you the story about how they grabbed headlines. Not willing to let the matter lie. The Daily Caller News Foundation, thank you guys, decided to try visiting this safe space directly. So they went to the campus, which lies just a few miles east of the arena where the whole thing was held, the convention. A reporter was dispatched to find the safe space there. It was located in a basement at a place called Crawford Hall. And he went to see what was inside it. Now, see, first off, to any of the news reporters out there, this is what reporting is. The first attempt was made Wednesday evening. Complete disaster. Turns out the safe space was only operating from 10 to 4 each day. Really? So at 4:01, the place is closed. And if that's when they need the safe space, then what are you supposed to do? Well, I guess bad guys only kill innocent people between 10 and 4 each day. I don't know if you guys knew this, but psychopathic killers have like a union, and they only kill people between 10 and 4 every day. If it's 4:01, they're not going to do it. All right, would that hardly seem practical, but okay. Unwilling to give up, the reporter then returned Thursday, this time with more success. While Crawford Hall required a school ID to enter, the reporter was still able, without the ID, to gain access by posing as a disaffected law student that didn't have his card with him. I don't have my card. I'm sorry. Well, you can come in anyway. So you can just lie your way in other words. Inside, he was greeted by a moderately heavyset woman with a face covered with piercings, dyed hair. Yeah, of course. Really weirdly dyed hair. I guess that was the shock troop offered to stop the police officers if they came downstairs. What lay beyond the veil beyond there? Okay. Pretty much nothing. No, I bet you're really curious what it looked like. No, pretty much nothing. Well, they're in the cellar with some fat chick with dyed hair. Well, I mean, what did you expect to find down there? Well, okay, I'll give you more details in a moment. Hang on.
You're listening to Bold Republic with your host, Glenn Wood. Y'all out there hush up now. I want to hear what's on sale at Walmart.
Blood pressure tends to run higher during the day and lower during nighttime sleep. However, many with high blood pressure don't exhibit this nighttime dip, a condition called non-dipping. More in today's AARP health tip after this.
At Walgreens, getting diabetes testing supplies with Medicare Part B is a walk in the park. Really, because getting what you need is quick and easy, giving you more time for other things. There's $0 out of pocket on all major brands like Accu-Check and Walgreens TrueMetrics, and no extra paperwork. So managing diabetes becomes a stroll down Easy Street, or a trip to the movies, or even a day at the beach. Talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy. Zero out-of-pocket costs when billed to Medicare and full coverage supplemental insurance.
Non-dipping is a major risk factor for stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. But studies show taking one or more of your prescribed blood pressure medications just before bedtime significantly decreases the risk. Of course, never change the timing of your medications without first consulting your doctor. For more, go to aarp.org.
Do you pay much attention to politics? So what, do you get your news from Facebook, Twitter, maybe some late night comedy show? Do you even have any idea who your senator is? Who's the vice president? So how do you decide who you're going to vote for? What do you flip a coin? Every election season there are get out the vote campaigns, asking completely unqualified voters to show up at the polls at the last minute and flip a coin. So, this election season, Bold Republic is sponsoring the Stay Out of the Vote campaign. If you spent the past 2 years completely uninformed and out of the loop, then do your country a favor. Don't show up at the polls. Don't vote. Take the day off, go to the beach, hang out at your local bar, watch a ball game instead, or check out some reality TV. Our nation's in sad shape because people like you have been voting. So this year, do your country a favor. Stay home. Stay out of the vote. America is depending on your apathy. Brought to you by the campaign to promote uninformed voter apathy.
You critics don't define our honor. You try to shame us for doing our job. You teach children to fear us, crowds to attack us, and good people to doubt us. But we will never back down from our sworn duty to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. We wake up every day, put on our badge, strap a gun to our hips, kiss our families goodbye, and put our lives between the law-abiding and any criminal who threatens their rights. We serve people of every color and creed, men, women, and children in violent, dangerous neighborhoods, because they have the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as CEOs, movie stars, and the political elite. We are Americans, and we are the American police officer. We stand with the National Rifle Association of America, and the NRA stands with us. Together, we're freedom's safest place.
So what's the matter, Senator? Flushing all that taxpayer money down the toilet, clogging up the drain again?
And how? And nothing works when the money don't flow.
And I bet flushing all that Chinese money really clogs the pipes.
Oh, with interest. Yeah, Chinese money's the worst.
Well, Senator, to keep that money flowing, why not try this new pipe cleaner? It's called Debt Bomb.
Debt bomb?
Yes, Debt Bomb, Senator. With all the pressure building up in the pipes from all that money you're flushing down the toilet, well, there's just simply no flow. You need something to clear the clog. But don't worry, the pressure will eventually build up that you can just shove Debt Bomb into the toilet and everything blows sky high.
Oh, look at it go.
Why, there's nothing left. No, Senator, there's nothing. No economy, no country, nothing.
But you say that like it's a bad thing.
Endorsed by governments worldwide. It's inevitable. Debt Bomb.
Sorting through the nonsensical nonsense that makes your life a living hell. It's Glenn Woods. OldRepublic.com.
It's a Bold Republic Radio Show Friday edition. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to go back to Munich real quick so we can catch up on that story. You've probably by now heard of the shooting there. So Munich, Germany, mall, and shooting erupts near the food court, kind of near a McDonald's there. There is some cell phone video of the thing. Police show up. Shootout ensues. There now are 8 people dead. I don't know how many wounded. And a massive manhunt is on the way. I was wondering earlier, did they kill the guy? Did they catch the guy? No, apparently not. Now, they're suspecting there could be up to 3 shooters. This is why I always say to you guys, just wait for the story, because you notice how the story is evolving here? All right, but what you originally heard is not what you're hearing now. The story evolves as more information comes out. Now, let's go back to the Dallas shooting just recently, where those 5 police officers were shot. The number of police officers, the body count, if you will, continue to go up and down. At one point, there were multiple shooters, but then there was only one shooter. Well, the reason why is they're in downtown. Someone shoots a gun, and it echoes in the canyons of those buildings. And so it sounds like multiple shots from a bunch of different directions. That's a lot like the Dallas shooting, again, back to Dallas. I really do have to wonder sometimes, what is with Dallas and the shootings? I'm not the only one who's wondered this. The clock tower guy Kennedy, now this. But anyway, the Kennedy's assassination. There's a lot of people who say, oh, there was a guy up in the grassy knoll up there, because all sorts of people turned around and pointed up and said, I heard a shot from up here. No, you heard an echo of a shot from up there. There's a fence up there. So the sound bounced off the fence and down to the people that were sitting up in the grassy knoll. And so that's what made them think the shot came from behind them. So you get the idea, right? All right. So we don't, 3 suspects they think. They're searching for him. We'll find out. I'll let you know. I'll update you as the whole thing goes on. Let's get back to this university, because this to me is just a hoot. We got to go down into the cellar of this university. If you're just joining me, here's what's happening. So at the Republican convention, just a couple miles away, there's a university. And so many police officers were there to cover it. They decided, okay, we're going to go and house some of the police officers at the university because they have an empty dorm. And the university said, hey, this sounds like a great idea. Go ahead. But some students cried, we need a safe space. There's police officers here, and you know what they're like, because we've seen them kill people on TV, and Black Lives Matter, and they have guns, and we need a safe space. Well, so the president of the university, idiot that he is, actually apologized and gave them a safe space. So a reporter from the Daily Caller showed up. Day one, he can't get down into the safe space, which is in the cellar of a building, because it's only open from 10 till 4. Now, if you don't know, it's because psychopathic mass murderers only kill people between 10 and 4. That's it. So if it's 4:01 in the afternoon, you don't have to worry about some psychopath with a gun. I bet you right now in Munich, Germany, if we check the time, the shooting happened between 10 and 4. Unless they have German shooting time, I don't know. But okay. Let's get back to this college. The Daily Caller reporter shows up. He can't get in because he showed up after 4 o'clock. So he goes back. Now, he's supposed to show some kind of campus ID. Isn't that racist? You have to show ID? Well, anyway, he pretends he forgot his ID, doesn't have it on him. So they let him into the safe space. The safe space is in a cellar, guarded by a fat chick. I am not making this up. Go to my website, boldrepublic.com. Go to my Daily Outrage page. Scroll down, you'll find the story. So the safe space is guarded by one lone fat chick with a face full of piercings and some hair dyed in some weird multicolored way. So, okay, in the Daily Caller reporter walks. Quote, do you really need somebody to talk to or just a quiet space? Asked the fat chick. Afraid that talking too much would blow his cover, the reporter simply said he needed a quiet space. That'd be enough. With that, the escort went to a side office to perform some clerical work, leaving the reporter to his own devices in a very safe space. And what did the safe space and depressing conference room have to offer? Not much. There was a case of free candy provided by the campus LGBT center. Oh, that was nice. Although the selection was rather underwhelming for a school that charged $5,000 a year, but okay. And then there were coloring books. Oh, you want to sit and color? Well, look, I mean, you're an adult. You want to be treated like an adult because you're in college, but the police officer scared you, so you're going to go in the cellar and draw and eat candy. 3 coloring books, 3 of them, in fact, along with 2 boxes of marker and a large box of sharpened colored pencils. One of the books was just a generic adult coloring book. The others were less interesting. By the way, have you ever seen a goth coloring? You know those goth kids. They wear all black, have black lipstick and so on. Yeah, you ever seen a goth coloring book? Comes with 1 crayon. Black. Oh, yeah, there was... let me see. Word problems he could do. There's a book of word problems there. Okay, so let's see. What else do they have down there? Sea turtles. There was a big, there's a sea turtle display down there of some kind. Well, no, a book on sea turtles. Another coloring book, Being Gay is Okay. That was a book intended for any homosexuals that might go down there into the cellar. And let's see. That was about it. That's what was down there in the safe space. Now, I'm not sure what that was supposed to do. The best I could figure out was because there were big, bad police officers living in the dorm room during the convention, that if you put the safe space in a gun-free zone, I'm assuming the building was a gun-free zone, and then you put up a sign that says that this is a safe space, then, and this is the important part, you get some fat chick with a bunch of face piercing and multicolored hair to guard the place. Then somehow or other, you are perfectly safe. Now, I didn't know that. All this time, here I am sitting in my studios here at American Standard Media and the Bold Republic radio show. And I didn't know. I'm a loudmouth, obnoxious talk show host. I mean, I could be assaulted at any time. At one time, I had the Dan put up on the door that this was a suicide-free zone. No killing yourself for Allah beyond this point. Suicide best-free zone. Now, I can honestly say, the whole time we've had that sign hanging up, we never once had a suicide bomber attack this place. So I'm assuming that it works. Now, if I were the reporter, I would have had a little bit of fun. I would have had a minor freak out. So the fat chick would have come around the corner to see what was wrong. And then I would have said the problem was that one of the coloring books triggered me. And how dare they put a coloring book like that in a place like this? I don't know which one. And I would also tell her that their choice, since they didn't have a very large choice of crayons for the coloring books, I would say that that was racist. And I would accuse the fat chick with multiple piercings and multicolored hair of being a racist. And then just stand back and watch her freak out and melt down in her own safe space. See, that would be the beauty of it. The safe space that she was told to guard turned out to be the last place that was safe for her mentally. Oh, I wish I was there.
You critics don't define our honor. You try to shame us for doing our job. You teach children to fear us, crowds to attack us, and good people to doubt us. But we will never back down from our sworn duty to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. We wake up every day, put on our badge, strap a gun to our hips, kiss our families goodbye, and put our lives between the law-abiding and any criminal who threatens their rights. We serve people of every color and creed, men, women, and children in violent, dangerous neighborhoods, because they have the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as CEOs, movie stars, and the political elite. We are Americans, and we are the American police officer. We stand with the National Rifle Association of America, and the NRA stands with us. Together, we're freedom's safest place.
So what's the matter, Senator? Flushing all that taxpayer money down the toilet, clogging up the drain again?
And how? And nothing works when the money don't flow.
And I bet flushing all that Chinese money really clogs the pipes.
Oh, with interest. Yeah, Chinese money's the worst.
Well, Senator, to keep that money flowing, why not try this new pipe cleaner? It's called Debt Bomb.
Debt Bomb?
Yes, Debt Bomb, Senator. With all the pressure building up in the pipes from all that money you're flushing down the toilet, well, there's just simply no flow. You need something to clear the clog. But don't worry, the pressure will eventually build up that you can just shove Debt Bomb into the toilet and everything blows sky high.
Oh, way to go.
Why, there's nothing left. No, Senator, there's nothing. No economy, no country, nothing.
Well, you say that like it's a bad thing.
Endorsed by governments worldwide. It's inevitable. Debt Bomb. BoldRepublic.com.
police officers riding in tanks, wearing combat gear, and using military-grade weapons to respond to civil unrest has become increasingly common on American streets. Watching some of the news footage from Ferguson or Baltimore, you'd think you were looking at soldiers in a war zone rather than police protecting a community. This outcome is years in the making. Police forces with highly specialized military equipment and training, such as SWAT teams and police paramilitary units, were first used in the 1960s, and their use has been expanding ever since. SWAT teams are now deployed an estimated 80,000 times a year in the US, up from just 3,000 deployments in 1980. How did this happen? After all, the police and military are meant to serve very different purposes. The police are meant to be peacekeepers, serving and protecting civilians where they live, while the military is for waging war and destroying external threats to national security. Yet some police units are behaving as if their mission is to fight enemy combatants rather than stop civilian crime. One major reason for this shift is the boomerang effect. When the government develops personnel, tactics, and weapons to deploy in foreign wars, it's likely those same assets will reappear in some form back home. And that's what we've seen happen when it comes to the militarization of police. The first SWAT team was founded by a Marine named John Nelson, a Vietnam War veteran who became an officer with the Los Angeles Police Department when he returned home in the 1960s. In Vietnam, Nelson had been a part of an elite force recon unit, renowned for their advanced training, high kill rates, and operations behind enemy lines. When the LAPD was looking for a new way to control large crowds after the Watts riots of 1965, Nelson saw an opportunity to use his military training. He suggested developing a squad within the police department of highly trained police officers with special weapons to respond to such events. This idea was supported by a senior police official, Daryl Gates, himself a veteran of World War II. They formed the first SWAT unit with 60 of the LAPD's top marksmen, who all had prior military experience, and gave them further training in guerrilla warfare tactics that Nelson had learned in Vietnam. Personnel who had been trained as instruments of war were now prepared to use those same tactics and mindset against American civilians. By 1971, the SWAT team was made a permanent fixture of the LAPD, and soon the concept was being copied by police agencies throughout the country. So the boomerang effect helps explain the invention of militarized police units in the first place, but it doesn't stop there. Military thinking crept into other major domestic policy arenas through the war on drugs and the war on terror. Though both of these conflicts involved foreign enemies, such as international drug cartels and terrorist organizations, these wars are also being waged on civilian drug dealers and homegrown terror threats. This means huge amounts of federal dollars have gone to local police departments to wage these wars in their own communities. For example, SWAT teams are routinely used for no-knock drug raids, where heavily armed officers wearing body armor burst into civilian homes to try to catch suspects before they can destroy evidence. Unfortunately, these violent confrontations often have tragic unintended results: the deaths of innocent suspects, bystanders, and in some cases, police officers. The use of overwhelming force to apprehend nonviolent criminals is a far cry from traditional community policing. The boomerang effect has also enabled the spread of militarized police units through hardware. Congress has passed laws which allow police departments to receive surplus military equipment from the Department of Defense. Under one program, Program 1033, some $500 million in military equipment was transferred to state and local law enforcement in 2011 alone. Other programs from the DoD and Department of Homeland Security provide additional avenues for police departments to obtain weapons. Under these laws, even small cities and towns began acquiring armored vehicles, weapons, surveillance gear, and more, under the rationale that such gear was needed to combat terror threats or to go after drug cartels. So now some police forces don't just have the mentality and tactics of a militarized police force, they have the equipment as well. Today, there's a growing awareness about the issue of militarized police and some public outcry against it. But it's unclear whether this will be enough to stop the further spread of such tactics. Continued reform is needed. Repealing or significantly changing initiatives like the 1033 program may be one option.
Authentic, bespoke, raw, artisanally crafted toilet paper, hand pulped and hand perforated the way toilet paper used to be. Come with us as we roll back 100 years of innovation, introducing Quilted Northern Rustic Weave, Craft you can feel in every square. It's tissue that's genuinely tree to toilet. For a more memorable bathroom experience. New Quilted Northern Rustic Weave. Also available in small batch, cedar loom, and extra virgin birch. Quilted Northern Rustic Weave. Designed to be remembered.
I'm American. That's right. I'm American. Got a picture raking above my fire. Next to the deer, I shot with my rifle. NRA, hell yeah, I support them. I hate my job and I hate my boss, but I love my country and I pray to God that the Cowboys win. Just clap your hands if you love our country, if you love our land. That's right. And if you're not clapping your hands, you're a terrorist and you eat sand. Sandwich.
Irreverent, but honest and tastefully tacky somehow. Here comes another hour of insensitivity training with Glenn Woods.
And I live in America. Come on. And I live in America. I'm America.
Third and final hour, Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Open phones all the way. 844-700-BOLD or 844-700-2653. And there's always pretty much everything I'm talking about, a whole lot more. Website, boldrepublic.com. Latest update from Munich, Germany, where a shooting has been, has taken place at a mall, started in the food court. They're now chasing 3 people. That's all we know right now. They're after 3 different people. And 8 are dead. And that's all the information I have right now. They think it probably is a terrorist attack. As I get more information during the course of the program, I'll step up to it and give you more information according to the program. Would you like a bit of good news? I just such harsh news all week long here. Now and then, I just have to give you something that's just going to make you go, oh, thank God you told me that. And it's going to, what I'm about to tell you is going to make your weekend. In fact, here, hang up. I need your attention. Look at the radio for a minute. Look at the radio or whatever device you're using. Okay. This, what I'm about to give you, is so good that when you go out to have fun this weekend, you are going to tell everybody. In fact, I guarantee you, if you're someone who likes to drink and party, the more you drink, the more you are going to tell this story. Are you ready? All I have to do is read the headline. Headline. This is at the, I'm getting to it. Hang on, be patient. This is at the convention, the Republican convention. Outside, there were some protesters. A flag-burning commie protester accidentally set himself on fire. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Do you feel better? Do you really? You're going to tell everybody this, aren't you? Yes, you are. Okay, I don't blame you. I'll give you the details of the story. By the way, guess as this guy had lit himself on fire and was starting to burn, some people rushed over to help him and put the fire out, thus saving his life. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know you're already there. I didn't have to finish the story. A couple of police officers. Yes, the very people that they're protesting. The very people who they hate. A couple of police officers ran up and saved the guy. All right, here's the whole story from PJ Media. 2 police officers were assaulted during a class with communist agitators outside the Republican National Convention Wednesday. Their attempt to burn an American flag turned into a scuffle. They tried to get it lit anyway. Yahoo News reported it was unclear that the protesters were demonstrating about. What were they demonstrating about? They're communists. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So, no, I mean, they'll protest anything. But there's screeches about the United States and genocide and endless wars and Black Lives Matter, all during the melee. America was never great. We need to overthrow the system, etc., etc. Tensions between the police and the protesters began to raise. after they tried to burn an American flag. One of the protesters accidentally set himself on fire. The photos show the police rushing to the scene, putting the guy out. From the Cleveland police, they tweeted this out. Protesters lit flag on fire, then lit himself on fire, catching others on fire. Wow, so there's more than just him. Flames extinguished. No serious injuries. Okay. Now, just before I go on. Okay, huh? Was I kidding you here? When I tell you I'm about to give you a story that you are going to tell the rest of the weekend, and the more drunk you get with your friends, the more you're going to tell the story. Do I got this? All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for a bold news alert. Here is the Dan, live on location.
Thanks, Glenn.
Oh, it froze. Oh, the program froze. Okay, well, for those people watching on the video stream, you'll have to give me just a moment here because I got to get that program up and running again. The Dan Live. And here's what happens if you're kind of new to this. What happens is we have news alerts like all of the major news organizations out there. Go to a news alert. Sometimes it's important stuff. A news alert can be just as important as, for example, what's happening in Munich. But most of the time, news alerts are just a complete waste of time, but meant to get your attention because they know you're drifting. And so if it works for them, it'll work for us. Okay, I got the program running again. Ladies and gentlemen, live on location. No, wait a minute. This kind of screws it, doesn't it? Well, how can it be live on location? I just see, the program crashing just blows it, doesn't it? Well, I was saying live on location. By now, you probably know that it was pre-recorded. Yeah, because I'm about to play it again. Okay, busted. Ladies and gentlemen, was recorded on location. Whatever. The Dan with some breaking news.
Thanks, Glenn. Blistering heat is causing people to sweat. I'm not immune. It's also causing dehydration stuff.
I want to get some water.
Back to you, Jennifer Woodchuck.
There you go. Woodchuck. Okay, the Dan on location. I can't say live on location anymore. I've been busted. There. Now, okay, see what we did there? There, that is your news alert. You feel up to date or whatever. All right, next story up here. This is the time of the week when I do house cleaning. I've got a lot to get through here, or I'm never going to get to all of these stories. So, by the way, before I do this next story, those of you who are out there in the Dakotas right now, South Dakota, in the Black Hills, and you're in Wyoming in the Black Hills, what's the latest on the fires out there? Well, I've been keeping up with the news the same way you guys have, but I'd like the latest on the fires. So if you got any information, you know the phone number? Here we go again, 844-700-BOLD, 844-700-2653, or find me on Facebook under Bold Republic, or you can even email me, boldrepublic@aol.com. Information, pictures, whatever you got, personal stories, okay? I appreciate it. Those guys, there's a lot of fires out there. Those guys are going through a hell of a lot. So you remember David Duke. For those who don't, David Duke was a member of he was a grand poobah, whatever the hell, of the KKK. And he ran, what was the first time? What does he run for, folks, first time? Was it the Senate? National Rifle, well, yeah, okay. A National Republican Senatorial Committee said it will not back David Duke's Senate bid in Louisiana. He's a KKK, here we go, Grand Wizard, announced Friday that he would be running for a Republican nomination. Why? Members of the Klan are Democrats, not Republican. Why would he run as a Republican? However, Ward Baker, executive director, said minutes ago on Twitter the group would not back Duke. And, of course, he was a candidate some time ago. And there was a big stink. I got this guy running as a candidate. And this is a chance because he ran on the Republican ticket, not the traditional Democrat ticket. Now, for those who don't know why I'm saying that, the Democrats created the Klan to enforce their Jim Crow laws. So why David Duke would run as a Republican, I don't know. And let me give you another example. I've played you the video and audio of this. Hillary Clinton talking about Senator Robert Byrd and what a great man Senator Robert Byrd was, and how Senator Robert Byrd influenced her life. And when Hillary Clinton became a senator, it was Robert Byrd that was there for her, and she had nothing but praise for the guy, especially after he died. Well, let's take a look at his bio. Robert Carlisle Bob was his nickname, Byrd. He was born November 1917, died 2010. Member of the Democrat Party. Democrat Party. Byrd served as a U.S. representative from 1953 to 1959. Senator from 1959 to 2010. Longest serving U.S. senator, and at the time of his death, longest serving member in the history of the United States Congress. He also served in the West Virginia House of Delegates, talks about those days as well. But he was also a grand poobah, whatever the hell, of the KKK. And he was. This guy was a Grand Kleagle, is that what they call it, of the Klan. It's a real big shot position, too. And still a member of the Klan, he ran for elective office and won. So if David Duke runs or even announces, the fact that he says announcing he's going to run for the Senate again of Louisiana, just that announcement is going to have the Democrats looking at the Republicans going, see, told you a bunch of racist pigs and stuff. Okay, fair enough. Fine. You want to accuse the Republicans of racism because David Duke decided to run as a Republican? Okay, I tell you what, just for sake of argument, I know some of you out there are going to call me crazy, but for sake of argument, hey, Democrats, you got it. You can have that. Go ahead. That's fine. Hey, Robert Byrd. No, I'm not talking to Robert Byrd. I'm reminding them of Robert Byrd. I'd like you guys to remember Robert Byrd. Now, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. The Democrats have had many members of the Klan and other racist organizations run as Democrats and hold office. Just so you know. But you guys never seem to want to talk about that.
If and y'all got the interweb, you can find Glenn Wood on the web at www.boldrepublic.com or call 1-844-700-BOLD.
You know, a lot of people buy expensive razors to get a great shave. Some people even belong to Razor Club. And while a good razor certainly does go a long way, none of that means a thing if you haven't properly prepared your face or your legs or your underarms or wherever for that shave. It's the preparation that's the key. That's where Shave Secret comes in. You don't need any soaps or oils or aftershave, none of that. Shave Secret is the best shave ever. Simply put, the best shave ever. 100% natural oils. Comes in a little bottle that looks like an eyedropper bottle. Just wet the face, 3 drops. It doesn't even lather. It'll help heal any nicks and cuts, helps with dry skin, rashes, shave bumps, ingrown hairs, and a whole lot more. And it's a perfect size to travel with, too. Look them up online. Shave Secret. It's simply the best shave ever. A 100% natural product that'll prepare your face for the shave. Shave Secret.
Over the next 4 years, liberal policies of more spending, higher taxes, and a growing dependence on government will threaten America's future. Now more than ever, conservatives must take a stand.
This is the greatest country on earth. We are a leader for the world, and we need to continue to be.
The Heritage Foundation will take a stand, and we will lead the charge in offering principled solutions to America's biggest challenges, from spending and tax reform to reducing the size of government and maintaining a strong national defense. Call 1-855-502-2927 to join the Heritage Foundation today and receive a Heritage membership pack that includes a free pocket constitution, a subscription to our daily e-newsletter, The Morning Bell, and a window sticker that tells the nation you stand with Heritage. Call 1-855-502-2927 right now.
I consider the Heritage Foundation to be my voice in Washington.
Take a stand for conservative principles. Call 1-855-502-2927 right now.
Are you a bureaucrat? We would like to invite you to register for the Hometown International Bureaucratic Information and Justification Institute for the Bureau of Internal Symposium, or HEBGBs for short. HEBGBs invites you to this 1 or 3-day symposium, depending if our 3-day internal certification is renewed. We will have an exciting lineup planned. Health and Human Services Director Kathleen Sebelius, former IRS Manager Lois Lerner, and former head of the EPA, Lisa Jackson. Registration is easy-ish. Just go to Hometown International Bureaucratic Information and Justification Institute for the Bureau of Internal Symposiums.com and click register now. No, not now, but when you get there, click the word now, but not yet. You'll be directed to a site requesting you to fill out a small 12-page application.
This application gives you the heebie-jeebies information and authorizes you to print off a short 37-page registration form. After your registration form is complete, please go back to the heebie-jeebies website and follow the same steps 2 more times. Since registration in triplicate is required and copies will not be accepted, please fill out 1 with a number 2 pen, 2 with a ballpoint pen, and 3 with a crayon. Snail mail your application and registration along with your non-refundable check and money order, each made out for $250 to heebie-jeebies. Credit cards are accepted, but please allow for additional 10 to 12 weeks for processing.
You will then be promptly notified within 8 to 10 months if your non-refundable registration has been accepted. Don't delay. Get the heebie-jeebies today.
No, Glenn, it doesn't matter if you're part owner of the company. No cigars in the studio. Oh, what is that smell? Put your shoes back on. I don't want to smell that. Look, if you want good talent, you have to put up with some bad habits. Let's get back in there with the original bad habit boy, Glenn Woods.
It's the Bold Republic Radio Show. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, pretty much everything I talk about, a whole lot more, website is boldrepublic.com. So every once in a while, I tell you about this website, which is just one of the dumbest places on the internet, which is why I know you want to hear about it. It's called Everyday Feminism. Now, everyday feminism is every bit as bad as you're thinking it's going to be, and even worse. And it's the kind of website, I don't understand stuff like this. And I hope this comes across on the air, just to let you know a little bit about myself, where I come from, why I talk about what I do. If it matters, if it really matters, if it's really worth worrying about, it's important, and I'll worry about it. But most things that people worry about aren't worth worrying about, which is why I, in general, live a worry-free life. There's very few things that I actually worry about. Most of the stuff that gets you guys upset is not worth fretting about. You've built up a controversy in your mind for some reason. Now, one of the things that the left is doing lately, which is just, beyond idiotic, cultural appropriation. Now, before I get it, yes, that's when you put on a sombrero and drink tequila because it's Cinco de Mayo and you speak in a fake Mexican accent. You can't do that. That's cultural appropriation and that's wrong and you're a bad person and that's racist and you're evil. Okay, the answer is, here's the answer. You're a free person in a free country and you can do whatever you want. And if they want to think that you're a mean, cruel, horrible, evil person, they can think it. That's their mistake. Don't you worry about it. Just keep having a good time. Okay? All right. Everyday feminism. See, it actually is easy to defeat most of these arguments. I'm a free man. You don't get to tell me what to do. That's really how you answer that. You can't wear that outfit on Halloween, dress up like an Indian, because that's cultural appropriation. It's offensive and you're being a bad person and racism. And Black Lives Matter and stuff. Well, I tell you what, I am a free person in a free country. And if I want to dress up as an Indian on Halloween, I'll do it. And you're not allowed to tell me what I can and can't do. So, hey, if it really bothers you, get over it. and walk away. That's all you have to do. You don't worry about them anymore. Don't even fight with them. From Everyday Feminism, you can look up their website if you want to laugh. 4 signs you are culturally appropriating Buddhism and why it's important not to. See, these are people who sit around and worry about stuff like this because I guess they don't. If this is what you have to worry about with your life, then you have a wonderful life. Your life is amazing. Well, I look at it this way. Right now, somewhere on planet Earth, somebody is waking up and they haven't eaten in days because there isn't any food around. There isn't any clean water to drink. There's disease all over the village. And they don't know what they're going to do. They have no idea what they're going to do, how to handle this. See, those people have problems. If you're sitting around worrying, am I culturally appropriating Buddhism? Because that's wrong. You know something? Your life is fantastic. Wow. If that's all you have to worry about, if you sit around and make up garbage like that, then you honestly don't have a care in the world. Let me read this story real quick here from Everyday Feminism. It reads, imagine this. You're a practicing Christian. You believe in God, Jesus. You go to church every Sunday. You pray before bed. You even help at church fundraisers. You walk into the entrance of a workplace one day, see a statue depicting Jesus sitting on the floor in the hallway. How do you feel? That is a true story. Except Jesus is not on the cross. It's a statue of Buddha. No, I want you to admit, just this picture. This is what they're trying to say. You're a practicing Christian. You're very devout. You walk into some office and they have a statue of Jesus standing on the floor looking up at you. Don't you feel bad? Okay. When someone walks into a store, a restaurant, and there's a little Buddha sitting there, that's how Buddhists feel. Okay, so you're supposed to spend your time feeling bad about that. Buddhism is, and it talks about how it's a religion practiced by so many people, but it's been considered cool to market Buddha. Oh, there's Buddhist symbols all over the place because it's sort of a hip and trendy thing, but you're making other people feel bad because you're culturally appropriating their religion. So you got to stop that. Well, okay. My answer to that is if I walked in, if I were a very devout Christian and I walked into a place and saw that somebody had Jesus sitting on a little display somewhere, just like we put a Buddha on display, but we may not necessarily be Buddhists, I would think, hey, cool. Oh, wow. Thanks for promoting my religion. See, the problem would be people who are offended by every little thing. These are the people who have way too much time on their hands. They're not waking up early in the morning wondering if they're going to get to eat today, wondering if it's going to rain and they're not going to have any shelter. This is what these people worry about.
Hey, Ed, look, get back in here. Time to listen to Glenn Woods and use all them big words like anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Blood pressure tends to run higher during the day and lower during nighttime sleep. However, many with high blood pressure don't exhibit this nighttime dip, a condition called non-dipping. More in today's AARP health tip after this.
At Walgreens, getting diabetes testing supplies with Medicare Part B is a walk in the park. Really, because getting what you need is quick and easy, giving you more time for other things. There's $0 out of pocket on all major brands like AccuCheck and Walgreens TrueMetrics, and no extra paperwork. So managing diabetes becomes a stroll down Easy Street, or a trip to the movies, or even a day at the beach. Talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Zero out-of-pocket cost when billed to Medicare and full coverage supplemental insurance.
Non-dipping is a major risk factor for stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. But studies showed taking one or more of your prescribed blood pressure medications just before bedtime significantly decreases the risk. Of course, never change the timing of your medications without first consulting your doctor. For more, go to aarp.org.
bold republic.
Did you ever run a lemonade stand when you were a kid? The lemonade stand is often one of the first experiences people have with running a business. You learn about marketing. What will your sign say and how will it look? What will you charge for your lemonade? Can you charge more when it's hot out? You also learn one of the harder lessons about business: the difference between sales and profits. If a kid collects $20 selling lemonade for an afternoon, she might think she gets to keep all the money. And sometimes she can, if mom provides all the lemons, sugar, and cups for free. But in a real business, you have to pay for those things. Let's say those items cost $17. In this case, total sales are the $20 collected from the customers, and the profit is the amount left after all costs are paid. $3. Most businesses have pretty low profit margins. That is, the profit made on each sales dollar. For example, grocery stores only keep 2 cents on every dollar they collect from customers, and restaurants only get a little more, around 3 cents for every dollar in food they sell. That can add up if you own a chain of grocery stores or restaurants, but most business owners don't own multiple locations. When governments add new regulations on the businesses, even well-intended rules like requiring them to pay for healthcare, charging them for special licenses, or telling business how much to pay their employees, business owners have to figure out how to pay for those additional costs out of those low profits. This often means reducing the number of employees, switching to more self-service, or increasing prices. So the next time you hear about a new government requirement for business, just remember that they have to figure out how to pay for it. Too often, the result is a lost job or higher prices for you.
Hi, I'm Hank Patterson, world-renowned fly fishing guide and wilderness survival expert. And today, I'm here with a few tips and techniques on how you can survive a trip to Yellowstone National Park. Every year, tens of hundreds of thousands of people are smashed and trampled and smushed to death in Yellowstone by bison, elk, moose, llama, antelope. Thousands more have their faces chewed off by grizzlies and polar bears, and 32,000 people are kidnapped by wolves, never to be heard from again. Fucking wolves. We've all seen the images of people trying to get a selfie with an elk, or putting a baby bison in the trunk of their car, petting grizzly bears, or trying to tickle the nuts of a bull elk. And we've all said the same thing. Look at these stupid, idiot, moron people. But the truth is, these people aren't stupid at all. They're simply uninformed and uneducated. They just haven't been taught to have a good, healthy fear of wild animals. In fact, they've been taught the very opposite. What's the #1 stuffed toy on the planet? Teddy bears. You want a funny, hilarious, soft bison hat? Look no further than the Yellowstone gift shop. Since we were children, we've all been taught to think of these wild creatures as our little woodland friends. Don't believe me? Let's play a little word association. Okay, so I'm going to say a word, and then you say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? Wolf.
Puppies.
Pack of wolves.
Lots of puppies.
Bison.
Huggable.
Grizzly bear.
Cuddles and kisses.
Hey, you know that, like I'm like part grizzly bear. So it's no wonder that 178,000 people will perish in Yellowstone this year, which is exactly why I've developed Hank Patterson's 6 simple steps to surviving Yellowstone National Park. Step 1, stay the f*** away from bison. Step 2, when it comes to grizzly bears, you're going to want to stay the f*** away. Step 3, if you see an elk, stay the f*** away from it. Step 4, wolves. Now that's a whole different program. If you run into wolves, you want to kind of really be quiet when you stay the f*** away. Step 5, have you ever had your arm like ripped off of your body and then, you know, eaten like right in front of your face by a moose? You're going to, unless you stay the f*** away from moose. Step 6, if you see a geyser, don't put your face in it. Step 7, do you know the difference between looking at grizzly bear cubs from inside your car and from outside your car? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Stay the f*** inside your car. And you're going to want to stay on marked trails, take water, be hydrated, only hike with friends, and take bear spray. If you're one of the more than 200 million people that'll visit Yellowstone this year, remember to take the time to enjoy the beauty and wild, majestic splendor that Yellowstone National Park has to offer. But more than that, remember, stay the f*** away from wild animals.
last half hour ish of the program. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. It's the Bold Republic Radio Show. During the course of the weekend, lots of stuff is still coming your way on the website. Don't forget to check us out at boldrepublic.com. Real quick, let me get this out of the way. I appreciate, I'm flattered when people do stuff like this. When I first got here to the state of Wyoming some years ago, there was, 8 people running for governor. And in Gillette, Wyoming, at the Camplex, I got to moderate the debate between those 8 people. And had a good time doing it, too. Oh, if you're thinking I was completely serious, come on, you've heard this show enough. You know, I mean, for God's sakes, please. All right, for those folks, and we're kind of putting this together right now, but for those folks who are over in the Sundance area, now if you're outside the state, Sundance, where is that? Sundance, Wyoming, as in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Yes, that's where he's from. So anyway, I got a call from over there. Crook County Republican women. So some women called me. Oh, yeah. And they asked if I would go over there to the courthouse lawn behind the courthouse. Now, that to me, first of all, I was really excited. A bunch of women from Sundance. Would I go there on Saturday, June 30th at 11 a.m. after the parade? This is sounding better all the time. And join the women behind the courthouse. Oh, no, they want me to host a debate. See, it just never works out. So I had them get a hold of Carl. You folks who are listening to the Country Twins out there, this show's carried on your stations. You get about the best reception that there is in Sundance because, hey, turn around, look at that big knob of a hill up there. Yeah, that massive hill up there. Okay, that tower at the top, yeah, that's where you're hearing me right now. Okay, so incumbent Tyler Lindholm and challenger Ted Davis will debate the important issues of the day, and I will moderate the thing. Now, at some point, I'm going to get, like you guys, bored with their answers, and I'm just going to ask the 2 guys just to get up and beat each other until one is left standing, and that's going to be the winner. But they don't know that's coming yet, so just don't tell. But anyway, Carl at the Country Twins says he's going to go over there and broadcast the whole thing live. So, and it's going to be on 2 different stations at once, 1450 AM and KYDT 103.1 FM. Questions will be accepted in advance by email. So just, it's wildwest at 1791.com. So I'll see you there. Again, that's going to be at 11 a.m. behind the courthouse, July 30th, which with a bunch of women. So, yeah, you guys find a way to get away from your wives, and we'll head out behind the courthouse with the ladies. Oh, yeah. Just sounds better when I say it that way, doesn't it? All right, so speaking of ladies, I'll give you the compliment this time, Connie. Connie stopped by the studio a moment ago. She knew I was in a commercial break, opened up the door, threw this bag in. Right away, I naturally assumed that Connie was tossing the bomb in. And I dove under the table. And when it didn't go off after a while, I just took a big jug of water and poured it over just to see if I could maybe cause it to short circuit if it was electric or maybe it was a burning fuse. But no, instead it's a lot of paper. So all of this is soaked. So one, I didn't know that a book like this existed. The Complete Idiot's Guide to Memes. Find out what can make an idea that catches on. Really? Okay. A novice's ability with Photoshop and a sense of humor. There. That's how you make a meme. Get the whole book on that? Really? All right. The next thing is if you hear me with paper, it's because somebody handed me paper. No, I'm not some environmentalist nut job or something like that. Nut job, yes. Environmentalist, no. But I just, look, we're living in a modern era full of, there's a sports section that can get thrown away immediately. I don't do sports. I'm not a sports fan. I'm not doing it. Okay, so I'm not an environmentalist nutball. I'm just a nutball. I don't do newspapers because we have all these computers all over the place. So why would I do that? So here we go. From the Gillette News Record, man allegedly shoots 4 times into somebody's home. Nobody was hurt. Now, Gillette News Record, I have been very critical of you over the years. I'm afraid I'm going to have to be critical of you again. You are out of line on this one. What do you mean a man allegedly shoots 4 times? Okay. Shoots what? Well, and for that matter, you're out of sync with all of the newspapers around the country. No, the gun got up on its own and just shot into the building. Okay? That recently in Nice, France, that attack was of where all the people got run over by the truck. You know how that, come on, you know how this goes. The truck on its own kidnapped a driver and ran over a bunch of people. Well, it said the truck killed him, not the person driving the truck. Let's see. City hits more highs in water and electrical use. Here's an interesting one. For those who are not from this area, we're going through a bit of a downturn here. Things have really slowed down. You know, we used to bring in, and people complained a lot, that we were bringing in a lot of help from out of state. There are people here who have perfectly good jobs. We're going out of state to hire people and bringing them to Wyoming. Well, that's because Gillette was kind of short on jobs. Our people to fill those jobs is what was going on. This is a turnabout now. Since we're going through a bit of a downturn. Headline, recruiting turnabout. Campbell County used to leave the state to find workers. Now, out-of-state companies are recruiting right here. Now, that's a thought for those people that are out of work. Yeah, there are recruiters coming here to drag you out of state. Now, that's good news. But hang on a second. Just a thought. I know you need the work. I understand. Just a thought. Do not move to a state that has a state income tax. I made that mistake twice, and I'll never do that again. Don't ever move to a state that has a state income tax. It is bad enough that you are paying a federal income tax, and we need just to get rid of that system altogether. And yes, it can be done. And there are all sorts of systems out there that are a lot better than the federal income tax. The fair tax, look that up online, is much better. There's no paperwork to fill out whatsoever. But if you go to a state that has a state income tax, after you get done filling out your federal income taxes, you then sit down and do the same kind of paperwork to file your federal income taxes. Yeah. Now you are just when you thought you couldn't possibly get any more pissed off, now you're twice as pissed off. Yeah, and they're really digging into your money at that point. So I understand if anybody wants to take a job out of state because out-of-state recruiters are coming to the area because they know you're looking for work. Do not move to any state that has a state income tax. Oh, well, and that's also because, boy, you want to talk about a state that's run by liberals. That would be one.
Everything Glenn talks about is on his website, and that website is updated daily to keep you informed and scared. BoldRepublic.com.
Can carpet stand up to wine, chocolate, and even bleach? Life-proof carpet from the Home Depot can. And right now, you can get free installation on any carpet, including Life-proof. That's the carpet, the pad, and the installation. This is the next generation of carpet. Visit your local Home Depot store to schedule a measure today. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid on basic installation through July 27th. Minimum $500 purchase of carpet and pad, U.S. only.
President Obama's Environmental Protection Agency is considering new regulations on ozone that could trigger some new crazy laws, such as bans on lawn mowing during certain times of the day. New parking space taxes. And new fees based on how many miles you drive your car. Visit stoptheepa.com to tell your legislator that President Obama's EPA should stay out of our wallets.
Have you heard? The National Debt Clock now has an app, so you can see what the debt is at any time. No, don't show it to yourself. Use it on your big government spending friends.
Yeah, sure, whatever. It's all relative.
Also, you can scroll and look at past debt and future debt. Oops. Don't get too close. It's a black hole. You don't want to get too close.
24/7, 365. Hospitals are there for us when we need them, whenever we need them. We turn to paramedics, nurses, and doctors on some of our toughest days, and some of our very best. And 24/7, 365, the oil and natural gas industry works to get them the energy that makes their work possible. Learn more at energytomorrow.org.
You critics don't define our honor. You try to shame us for doing our job. You teach children to fear us, crowds to attack us, and good people to doubt us. But we will never back down from our sworn duty to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. We wake up every day, put on our badge, strap a gun to our hips, kiss our families goodbye, and put our lives between the law-abiding and any criminal who threatens their rights. We serve people of every color and creed, men, women, and children in violent, dangerous neighborhoods, because they have the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as CEOs, movie stars, and the political elite. We are Americans, and we are the American police officer. We stand with the National Rifle Association of America, and the NRA stands with us. Together, we're freedom's safest place.
We've got to build the economy for the future. Abundant American oil and natural gas can give us a real leg up. More affordable energy, better jobs, more money for our communities. That's going to work for generations to come. I'm Melanie, and I'm an energy voter.
Sorting through the nonsensical nonsense that makes your life a living hell. It's Glenn Woods. OldRepublic.com.
It's a Bold Republic radio show. Last 9.5 minutes-ish or something like that. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. Since it is a Friday and I'm wrapping everything up, that means, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step into the Friday meme stream. Don't ask me what the stream is. I have no idea. I just was looking for some kind of an opening. Meme stream is this. During the course of the week, I just grab what I think are the best memes out there. Whatever that might be. I love memes. I used to say for 2 reasons. Now I can say I love memes for 3 reasons. I realize the third reason today. Reason number 1, because memes can be just absolutely that brilliant. Reason number 2, because memes can be absolutely that stupid. And reason number 3, because you can tell how honest a person is by their meme. I told you of one just a little bit earlier. There was a woman that put up a meme. It was, I forget. Laura Ingraham, that's who. Shows a picture of Laura Ingraham on the stage at the Republican convention, and she's waving to the crowd. And someone froze it to make it look like she was doing a Heil Hitler salute. Then someone took a Photoshop. They didn't even take Getty images off of it. They took a photo of Trump and put it up as if it was up on the screen behind her. He's waving at the crowd in the opposite direction. So it looks like they're giving each other the Heil Hitler salute. Yeah, really makes you think, doesn't it? Yeah, it really makes you think that you're just a damn liar. And of course, she tries to make some kind of an excuse for what she's doing there, but no. Absolutely not. We see what you're trying to do here. All right, so the best, the worst, the bad, the ugly, the lies, the truth of memes. Here's number one. So this I thought was clever. There's a picture of Donald Trump's wife, and right next to her, a picture of Michelle Obama. And Michelle Obama is saying, she stole my speech. Underneath is, oh, what the heck? I'm sorry. I just suddenly drew a blank on something here. Caitlyn, that's the name. Yeah. Well, Bruce Jenner. No, because I'm not calling him Caitlyn Jenner. Bruce Jenner dressed up as Caitlyn Jenner. How's that? Saying she stole my look. So in other words, if you think about what Bruce Jenner looks like when dressed up as a woman, doesn't it look like an uglier version of Donald Trump's wife? Wouldn't that be not just cultural appropriation, but sexual appropriation? Okay, next one here. Here's Michelle Obama again. For the first time in my adult life, I'm proud of my country. Mrs. Trump, I became a citizen because I love this country. See, sometimes memes can really open your eyes as to what's really going on. One of my favorite men of all time, Milton Friedman, one of the greatest economists to ever live in the history of economists. Milton Friedman, it shows a picture of him, and it's a quote. A society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. A society that puts freedom before equality will get a high degree of both. Milton Friedman, absolutely. Well, and now you see why he was one of the most brilliant men in the history of brilliant men. Next meme shows a couple of little boys with little baseball caps on, little boys, and they have the garden hose, and they have the garden hose stuck into the gas tank of the car. Mom is going to be so happy when she sees the gas tank is full. Oh, God. Okay. That's why I love these things. Okay, let's go to Montana for this one. Montana. Now, I don't think this sign's real. I mean, it looks pretty fake to me, but so what? I like it when people do this. Montana, where 90% of homes are protected by high-speed wireless devices. Hands up, who knows what that is? Okay, if your answer was a gun, yes, a gun is a high-speed wireless. To help your liberal friends who don't like the idea that you own a gun, just tell them that you protect your home with a high-speed wireless device. There's a picture here of a flag outside of a store. It looks like it might be Arizona or something like that. But anyway, it says, the official flag of the Democrat Party. Oh, the flag is an EBT flag, just so you know. No, I think that's pretty clever. Well, yeah, I wonder, would that be offensive to people if you put these EBT flags out around the Democrat Party convention, something like that? Well, I mean, there are times that you point out something which is all too true with the Democrats and they get offended. What? Because you can't point out the truth to them. But okay, this was a good one that went around during the course of the week. It shows a news anchor, old-timey news anchor. He's sitting there in front of an old-timey microphone with an old-timey set behind him and a piece of paper. And now it's time to go over the carefully selected stories that have been chosen to manipulate your emotions and thinking. Now, if you think, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you know why it's not funny? Because it's absolutely true. From the television show House of Cards, I love this one. From the television show House of Cards, we have Frank Underwood, who's president of the United States in this thing. And he actually says this in a television show. You are entitled to nothing. Want it? Earn it. Next one. Shows the current candidate for president for the Libertarian Party and the current candidate for president for the Green Party. And it says, vote for a third party is not for the main party. I'm sorry, let me do this again. A vote for a third party is not a vote for the main party of opposition. It's a vote for a third party. A vote for a third party is a vote for a third party. The reason I like that one is because it gets right back into what you've heard me say all along. If I say I'm going to vote third party in the presidential election or in any election, if I say I'm going to vote third party and not for Donald Trump, people will turn to me and say, well, a vote for a third party is a vote for Hillary. And my answer is, no, it is not a vote for Hillary. They do not take my vote from the third party, let's say the Libertarian Party, and give it to Hillary. A vote for a third party is a vote for a third party. On that note, I thought this was hysterical. Remember those little troll dolls with the big hair on them? Yeah, you saw one of them in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a Donald Trump baby is what that is. That's not a little troll doll. That's a Donald Trump baby. I'd never thought of that before. Here's a comedian, a liberal comedian, who is saying, your rights end where my feelings begin. A lot of liberals think that. No, your rights end when your fist touches my nose. As for your feelings, the answer to that is grow up. Next one, be careful when you blindly follow the masses. Sometimes the M in masses is silent. Someone got a hold of a roadside, those roadside construction signs, and that are lit up, and every so often someone hacks them. This one says, Ferguson protesters ahead, speed up, aim well. Yeah. I like this one. It's a kid at like a mosh party. And he looks a little stoned, but he just realized something. All of these kids getting hurt playing Pokemon Go. Maybe it's because they've never played outside before. Just a couple more. See if I can squeeze them in. From the old television show Dragnet, the two main characters there. One asking the other, how can Obama think it's okay to hate cops but not Muslims? Answer, because he's a Muslim, not a cop. See? Yeah. Here's a Hillary Clinton one for you. Is there something wrong when liberals say they're more worried about 50 repeated words plagiarized, but 30,000 or 3,000 emails deleted is nothing? Hey, see you guys Monday.